It is 6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans were back on the practice field yesterday as they continued their preparations for Week 1 against the Denver Broncos a week from Sunday. Safety Kevin Winston Jr. and running back Kalel Mullings returned but worked on the side field. Defensive lineman Devondre Sweat returned as a full participant, but no sign of right tackle J.C. Latham. In the NFL, a huge trade yesterday. The Dallas Cowboys are trading all-pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Parsons and the Packers then agreed to a 4-year, $188 million extension, including $136 million guaranteed. At $47 million per year, Parsons now becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. In Tennessee Vols news yesterday, per Hayes Fawcett of Rivals, 5-star wide receiver Tristan Keys has flipped his commitment from LSU to Tennessee. Vols head coach Josh Heupel lands the top wide receiver in the 2026 class who has been committed to LSU since March. Also, Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White announced yesterday that the school has signed head basketball coach Rick Barnes to a lifetime contract. Barnes will earn $6 million per year on his contract, which will have 3 years remaining on it at all times, essentially meaning that Barnes is Tennessee's head coach as long as he wants to be when he decides to retire. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into your Friday morning on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to be the first to welcome you to a game day eve for Tennessee football. College football week 1 is tomorrow. We've got games to preview. We've got Keys, both on the field and on a high school field, that just committed to Tennessee. We've got Keith Bullock on the show, a Titans legend and a Syracuse legend. We've got a Foster 5 of how Tennessee beat Syracuse, and the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons. How dare Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, try to overshadow Alex Golish winning a G5 play-in game yesterday in Tampa? How dare that? Jerry, we've got more important fish to fry. Good morning. It's Friday, August the 29th, and we are going to act like it. 615-737-1045 is the number. He's Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. What's going on? Good morning.
What's going on, man? Well, we got scooters this morning. We got scooters this morning with a dash of NFL, a dash of Cowboys, a dash of Vols, and shake your keys a little bit, Will, is what we got going on, man. Goodness, what a day. Where are my keys at?
There you go.
Yes, I get corny from time to time. It was me, man. I'm practicing yesterday, and I'm like, my phone is buzzing. I'm like, what the heck is going on? By the way, my trainer, James, if you hit me up, my bad, man. I was busy with some 13-year-olds yesterday trying to make them better on the bye week, man. But with that being said, had no idea all the information we were going to get yesterday was actually going to hit. Fascinating Thursday, Will. Like, this ain't even a dump day yesterday. This was a, hey, welcome back to football type of day, and basketball.
Yeah, mostly good news.
Yeah, it was. Mostly, unless you're Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark, I don't know, got a deal behind that.
Or Cowboys fan.
Yeah. What's surprising, yesterday as I got back home and tried to settle in and do some work, I didn't get Cowboy algorithm yesterday. I didn't see it on fire. Now, I don't know what they're doing down in Dallas or whatever today, but I didn't get any of it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm appreciative of that too, Will.
No, it was on fire. It was
on fire.
Pretty wild. This is one of those days where I feel like we've got to give the disclaimer, Ramon, on the front end. We have 4 hours.
Yeah.
If you tune in to a couple minutes of the show and you got to work commute, and it's, when are you going to talk about Micah Parsons, Titans finishing up camp, recruiting stuff, lifetime extension for Rick Barnes, keys to beating Syracuse. We're going to do all of it. We got a 4-hour show. The 104.5 The Zone Podcast Network will be your friend this morning. This is the beauty of us being the only 4-hour show here on the station, is that we've got a little bit more time to hit all of the marks we need to hit. So, again, if you're a Titans fan wanting end of training camp stuff, we're going to do that to start the show here in just about 15 minutes. If you're a Vols fan waiting anxiously to hear what the color analyst of the Vol Network has to say about Tennessee and Syracuse, we've got probably the majority of the show on that this morning. So we will get there. Be patient with us. There's a lot to get to this morning, and we are glad you are here to start.
Can I just add to that, too? An amendment to it? The Titans didn't make enough news yesterday, okay?
They made some news.
They made some, but like they didn't have
implode
this yesterday. They didn't implode. There was no trades that happened, but I will say this. I'll say this on the front end. That Dallas Cowboys trade could have something to do with the Titans maybe next year, depending upon what happens with this team and their future.
I'll go one step further. It has something to do with the Titans from 3 years ago.
From 3 years ago.
Congratulations to John Robinson. You no longer made the most infamous trade of a star veteran player at the end of their rookie contract.
This is true. That player went on to win a Super Bowl.
Micah Parsons in Green Bay. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's got to be. You're right. In modern NFL that since we've been covering the NFL, it was AJ. Now it's Micah.
And now it's Micah.
Yeah,
and this one's worse.
Doubt. Oh Lord.
At least that one happened at the draft, and you could maximize the value of it.
This happens 8 days before the kickoff, 7 days.
Because Jerry Jones got his panties in the wad because somebody actually looked him in the eye and told him that the way he does business is not normal, not conventional.
Lord.
But again, we'll get to it. 615-737-1045 is streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV. The Titans officially finished training camp yesterday. Ramon, what are the next few days like for them as next week begins game week? Monday, obviously, Labor Day. And you get a couple days here of a final break.
Yeah.
After practice yesterday, they did have a closed practice to the media on Wednesday, and here we go.
It wouldn't shock me if they got today off, but if not, they'll get the weekend off, practice on Monday. Monday is usually a bonus day. Some guys get out of town. There is really no time to take a quick trip. This is a rest yourself before the season kicks off type of week, Will. It is, to be honest with you, as normal of a human being as you could be this weekend. If you want to have a cookout, have a cookout. If you want to get out on Broadway Saturday night, do that safely, catch an Uber and all that type of stuff. Today is, this upcoming weekend is one of those chill weekends, Will. Monday, I'd almost guess they will have a bonus day by working on Labor Day because most teams or coaches will say, as an NFL player, you love to be laboring on Labor Day, which means you're on the NFL roster. So that's what it is. Game plans have probably been lightly put in with their opponent coming up with Denver. I would almost guess Cam is going to be a film rat this upcoming week and just prepare himself. The guys that have to have the most attention to it, I would say the inside linebackers, quarterbacks, they're probably going to be somewhat lightly locked in. But this is a final relax before the season kicks off type of weekend, Will. No stress this upcoming weekend.
That's right. Final little break before NFL Week 1 begins. Good energy of practice yesterday, just good overall session. We'll get to the bullet points of it. I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident, Ramon, in L'Jarius Sneed playing right away. I'm starting to see what I need to see. Yesterday, L'Jarius Sneed, a full participant at practice, saw him go through everything that he needed to. Now, I don't know what Wednesday looked like. We also don't know what Friday looks like, obviously, because they don't have a practice today. But makes sense to me, Ramon, that they would push him a little bit back out there, knowing that they have this little break this weekend to let him recover, let him rest, and be ready to maybe go through his normal procedure for a game week starting next week. I still think that there's, like we talked about weeks ago when he, or I guess last week when he was, feels like weeks ago because there's been football played between now and then. Last week when he got activated, I still think that there is a little bit of a pitch count, so to speak, of, hey, you're not going to trust him to go all the way out there right away, but I'm starting to feel better about him being on the field, period.
I think that's smart. I think they should have him in a position where he probably starts the game off, do the entire series, and have a series off. If it's gotta have it type moments, 3rd and 7, I can see you putting him out there in those type of situations. The threat of L'Jarius Sneed is better than no L'Jarius Sneed out there. But we also saw looking at some of the roster moves that they made, cornerbacks that they brought in, like they got a surplus of guys that I'm sure they want to train up as quick as they possibly can, just in case L'Jarius does have a setback. Those things happen with these type of injuries, with the knee quad, whatever he has going on, So this team has to protect itself.
All knee at this point, no quad.
All knee.
He says the quad's fine.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If it's just the knee, that is tolerable. Like, I had a knee towards the end of my career. I didn't practice until like Thursdays, or I had Thursdays off. Like, it's tolerable is what I would say.
He's still young enough. I don't know. It's just we'll see. Yeah, on paper, yes.
Do you agree?
A nagging knee thing shouldn't be as big of a deal as this already has been.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. Now, I don't know his body. I don't know his pain tolerance either. But as somebody that's dealt with it, and I've seen other guys have a knee issue that were heavier athletes, like it's tolerable is what I would think. Even if it gets swollen up, like the dark side behind the NFL is, well, drain it. Okay, and here's a Z-Pack for you also, an anti-inflammatory. Like, I hate to expose the NFL like that, Will, but that's just how the game goes sometimes is, look, we'll drain it. How good is your pain tolerance? If you need a week off, we'll give you that. Hey, no practice this week. Let's just go through the walkthrough on Saturday. This is how the league operates at times, especially when you're in the winning business. And if L'Jarius is trying to prove that his legend is still the same, and he wants to be here and he wants to play this contract out, those are the types of things that happen. Now, I'm an offensive lineman. My mindset's a little bit different than others, right? Sure. Just in general, that group is. DBs, they're very finicky. They got to feel as normal as they possibly can, but I'm sure this fan base would appreciate it. His body might not later in life as he have to get a knee replacement, but these are the sacrifices that guys make when you ask them, would you change anything? Most of us going to say no, Will.
615-737-1045 is streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Our question this morning, our first question this morning, on Twitter, at Ramon and Will, which trade was worse? Titans trading A.J. Brown or Dallas trading Micah Parsons? Eric is a Cowboys fan and is already here to give his thoughts this morning. What's up, Eric?
Come on, Eric.
Hey, guys, it's tough, but I think another question you could ask Dallas fans, which was worse, the Luka trade or this trade?
Yeah, no, Dallas is going through it right now. The whole city's going through it.
Guys, people know me. Know I've been calling for years. I've been a Cowboys fan, and there's still a part of me that still is a fan since 1977, which was Tony Dose's here. So that's about 48 years, and I've even got some Cowboys paraphernalia around my house. So it's just tough. I just think, to me, it's definitely Dallas is going to finish in last place this year behind the Giants. I really do believe that, guys. And I'll tell you what, Green Bay at worst is the second best team in the NFC behind Philly. I think this also means the Packers, in my opinion, are going to win the North, because if you've seen Detroit's schedule, it's brutal. Who they have to play on the road, the quarterbacks have to face. So I think Detroit's going to take a little bit step back. But, guys, I tell you what, I don't know. To me, this signifies a rebuild, guys. And I tell you what, guys, of course, I guess, I don't know if it's a Sunday night game, Green Bay and Dallas plays.
Yep.
Last week in September in Dallas, the 28th, which is 2 days after my birthday. So for me, it's bad all around. And I know I've heard the veteran Cowboy players have been skewering Jerry Jones. I know it's just going to be instant reaction. First home game, that game Sunday night with Micah Parsons receive loud cheers. And, guys, I tell you what, I'm kind of hoping that he has a huge game. I would love to see him stick it to Jerry Jones. And that's kind of the way I feel. Guys, will get off. Y'all take care. We'll talk to you soon and have a great weekend.
Thanks,
Thank
Eric. You. We'll appreciate that. What's crazy is other people kind of want to see that from from Michael Parsons too, Eric. They kind of want to see like Jerry Jones have to eat it, because I guess the mindset is, well, maybe he'll have to step down. I don't think he'll ever step down.
Jerry is going to always spin everything. Like last night, he was even saying, this was to make us better now. He said, what's to say we couldn't take these 2 picks and go get somebody better right now?
You can't.
You can't, buddy, because this guy comes around once in a generation.
Yeah.
That's the thing about, this is not the same as the A.J. Brown thing, because generational pass rushers don't come around the way he has.
No.
A.J. Brown's come around.
Yeah.
The Titans just drafted a really bad one to replace him. But, teams trade. No, I'm serious. Teams trade wide receiver runs all the time, and it works. And, there aren't Micah Parsons that are 25 years old at the time of the contract that work out like this. Edge rusher is a more valuable position. Of course they got more than what the Titans got for A.J. Brown, but this is a worse trade.
I see what type of time you on today,
This is
man.
absolutely a worse trade.
Yes, it is. But you're right. As you said that, you was just like the Titans just picked the wrong one. But to your point about the wide receivers, that's true. You got Jefferson. You got Jamar. Like, there's a numerous amount of wide receivers in this
Bills
league.
traded Stephon Diggs. Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill. Like, that was not in its own sense as bad of a business move as getting rid of Micah Parsons, who is the second most valuable. Oh, no, it's the most valuable position on the entire defense.
Yeah. Boy, you were on fire this morning, man. That was good.
615-737-1045. We stream the show live at 1045 The Zone TV, live from the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. I'll tell you what happened yesterday, the final day of Titans training camp, coming up next. Friday morning on 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee. Visit a locally owned location near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. 615-737-1045. So we mentioned L'Jarius Sneed practiced yesterday. He appears to be on track for Denver, Ramon Foster. Brian Callahan says yesterday, I think he is trending that way for sure. It's been a real positive week. He's been back at practice. Says we'll get to the injury designations next week, but we're pleased with where he's at. General Manager Mike Borgonzi also spoke about L'Jarius and who he calls LJ on his availability yesterday.
LJ, he's been doing great. We got him out here at practice this week here, and, really we'll see how he looks next week. But, corners you can't have enough of. I know we have 7 right now in the active, and, we went heavy in the O-line. Those positions are tough once you get into the season. So there's a lot of roster gymnastics you have to do here at the beginning to try to, keep some guys. And corners and offensive linemen, in my experience, have been the toughest, position group to really find during the season. So that's really the reason why we went heavy there.
Positive, Ramon, to hear those updates.
It is. The positive side about L'Jarius Sneed to me is, one, he's moving around and practicing. I'm guessing without media being there, he's probably had consistent days of doing something. And if you're getting that from him and if his strength is there, man, that's something that you absolutely love. And the other part, though, Will, too, is this. Just looking at his career, he's incrementally gotten better. Last year was an injury-plagued year for him, and it looks like his PFF grade is horrendous, okay? With that being said, if this is the bounce back in the time that he needed, I'd much rather him not have done anything the entire offseason just to get to this point, because you never really want to go in a game or into a season with no optimism. L'Jarius gives you that. His presence of being there as one of those top corners to reestablish himself is one of the best things you can have for this defense, because considering there isn't a world beater at the edge position, I'm not sure if Denard Wilson is going to have his guys blitz and create pressure from, the slots and stuff like that. But you can do that a whole lot easier if you got guys down the field that don't get DPIs or they can cover guys step by step. That's what L'Jarius, I'm hoping, brings to the scene. He's not a bad player. I think each player is due one. You know what I'm saying? I think each player in his career is due one bad season. AJ, who knows, right? You know what I'm saying? Each player is. Tajay, if he can get past his, and maybe 2024 was his one mulligan that he gets to reset himself.
Yeah, at the very least, it helps raise the floor of what your defense is. I think with L'Jarius Sneed being out there, and, it goes without saying, the rush of the coverage work together.
Yeah, they do.
That's obvious. I'm not breaking any news by saying that, but it becomes easier for you to rush the passer and get after the passer if you don't have to immediately get to the quarterback too effective. If the ball is coming out quickly, you got no chance.
Right. No, absolutely not. Especially in today's NFL, where the quarterback is a whole lot more, they're smarter. Well, the offense is a little bit more complex. They would do a lot of stuff as far as motion to undress you, to expose your weaknesses, or see if you're in zone, see if you're a man who's dropping back in coverage. The first game is also on the road this year, too. So you got to deal with the crowd component of having to adjust and communicate in those settings, too. So I'm fascinated to see if he does make it to week 1. It's been good, Borgonzi talking about him. Sound like he was upbeat. Yeah, I think we can hear sometimes the truth in guys' voice sometimes. Borgonzi seemed to have been upbeat about what he saw in L'Jarius Sneed. And considering his past with him in Kansas City, I think he know what the good version of him looks like.
Well, and being there yesterday, I could say the same about Brian Callahan.
Same.
Sounded more upbeat. Yeah. Sounded optimistic. And Brian's a generally optimistic guy. I feel like Brian is not one to sound overly negative on things the way maybe the previous coach here did.
And wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe that's the proper context there. I did think this was interesting from Brian Callahan talking about the leadership of the team, and a lot of questions asked to Cody Barton, Tony Pollard, and Calvin Ridley, a part of the 7 captains which were chosen by the Tennessee Titans roster earlier this week. Callahan feels pretty optimistic and confident in the team's leadership at this point.
I really think our leadership as a whole has improved. The things we talked about all offseason long, the work we put into that process, is really encouraging from an entire team standpoint. That's the most important thing to me. We got a lot of guys that focus on making each other better. They try to bring people with them, and those are the things that we emphasize with the leadership portion. We've had a lot of growth in our leadership, I think, over the course, the last 6 months, and it's been really encouraging to see. There's a lot of guys that got votes too, which was also really, really cool to see. The guys that were elected captains were the highest vote getters, but there was certainly guys that were right in that mix as well that would be deserving of that in a normal course of a voting process. So really happy with those guys. I love that group of guys. They're about the right stuff. They work the right way. They do everything we ask from a leadership perspective. So excited about that group. And then again, there's a lot of other guys that I think have grown a tremendous amount that are really going to help us along the way too. So the whole team is, in general, leadership-wise, I'm very pleased with.
That's head coach Brian Callahan speaking to the media yesterday. Tony Pollard followed that up just a few minutes later by saying, I have become more of a vocal leader, and last year we had a leadership issue.
I would say it was just one of those things that, we weren't really, the leadership is an area that we were kind of lacking in that area, but now, this year, I would say that's something that's not a question.
Is that what inspired you to be more vocal this year?
Coach, he challenged all of us this offseason, just not want us to lead by example, but, bring guys with us, bring younger guys along with us. And I feel like all of us, for the most part, have, taken that on.
So that's Brian Callahan and running back Tony Pollard. I think two things are happening here, Ramon. First of all, I think the organization has been more intentional about creating leadership because they know how young this team is and how big of a role the veterans play in teaching them how to be pros. Because there is so much unknown with this team. There are fourth-round wide receivers that are going to play right away. There's a tight end that's going to maybe be tight end 1 at some point this season. There's a corner at the 6th round that's going to step in and play a major role. There's 2 day 3 linebackers who you feel like are starters for this team if they kind of have 3 starters at inside linebacker who will rotate. I think there's also a second thing here, Ramon. I think Brian Callahan, when he reevaluated what didn't work last year, maybe assumed there would be leadership that he wouldn't have to foster himself. And I think Brian Callahan realized, okay, I have to take a major role in identifying and leading our leaders on the football team. Some organizations, you don't have to do that right away. I think there was more of a culture rebuild, Ramon, in that locker room, maybe that needed to happen more so than he originally thought. To me, as much as Brian has talked about, hey, I reevaluated and reassessed a lot of things that didn't go right last year, and I've made a lot of adjustments, that to me seems to be one of the biggest ones.
It is. Excuse me, my bad.
Got you choked up over.
Yeah, you did, because I love this type of stuff, and it's so it's so kumbaya. It's so just cliche, and the idea that you had to go do this. Well, with where this team was and the changes they've had year after year, and the searching for a type, right? I think it was fair to Coach Callahan to allow himself to see what it would look like without involving himself. You hear Tony Pollard, and I think we've seen Tony Pollard. That's one of my few times hearing Tony Pollard speak. So to hear him say he was challenged to not just lead by example, because to be honest with you, that is the easiest thing to do. In the NFL, I'll say that too, is, while I'm doing my job, well, how about you get vocal and put more pressure on yourself to put pressure on other guys? I like that type of stuff, Will, because if I say something out loud to you as a teammate, then everybody's going to hear me say it. So that accountability myself is there, but it's also to the persons or people that I'm talking to also. And I think this team has lacked that. I'll say this again. I said it before. I think the identity and leadership of this team was through one person at the top, and that was through, I think, Mike Vrabel for a while. You let him set the tone. Well, this isn't the case anymore. And you see Coach Callahan also giving the ownership back to the players, to the locker room. If you got a player-led team or a locker room that handles the bull crap from time to time, then you can start to grow in those moments right there. So, as you mentioned too, Will, this is a young team. This is a team that doesn't know any better. So hearing your veterans speak up is going to have other guys be in position where you want to allow guys to, hey, I ain't going to say not practice, but if somebody's dogging it, call them out. That's how you have accountability, and I think that's understated sometime in the NFL because, he makes plays, or that guy makes $10+ million a year. I'm telling you, on game day, that crap don't matter if you're not holding guys accountable that should be from time to time. So I like that. And also, I think the 7 captains that they got are fair, too, by the way. I think there was a conversation yesterday on social media about there was too many captains. No, it's not.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
representation is awesome.
Depends on the team.
Yeah. Representation is awesome right here with these guys. Each one of these dudes, I think you can say, you give a nod. Even Calvin Ridley to me.
That's the impressive one. And Brian talked about it yesterday. I'm glad you brought that up. Brian Callahan brought this up yesterday, how proud he is of Calvin in the way that he has been on that sideline. Ramon, I've been on the sideline now for 2 preseason games. You were on the sideline for 17 games last season. The Titans are getting a very different version of Calvin Ridley this year. And there's no one to blame for this. It's just the way the cards kind of fell, the way the dominoes fell, the cards shook out. When wide receivers are getting their share, they're good citizens. I think Calvin Ridley has a little bit of that going on, first and foremost, with, hey, he's getting the ball, he's happy. But I think secondly, Calvin has looked around and understood the way that he can make an impact on this team. I think it goes beyond just, I'm getting the ball, so I'm happy. I legitimately believe that Calvin Ridley likes these young receivers. I think he likes Tyke Tolbert. I think he's happy here. I think he likes Brian Callahan. This is not... I didn't feel like Calvin Ridley was a huge leader on that team last year. It's not a slight to him. It's not a dig at him. I just think he's gone that extra level this year.
I agree with you there. Having seen what I saw, he wasn't a bad team.
No, I'm not saying that.
It was such a fight or flight type of, I think, season last year to where you did selfishly, like I said, well, I got to make sure I'm getting mine. Like, that's a part of it, too. And
I get that.
Yeah.
The wide receiver position, I totally get
It's natural, Will, for guys to be that way, too. I think you look at the offseason that Jeff had this offseason, like where he's like, well, I got to go make sure I can make myself better. But I also look at it now with how he is with his teammates. That comes through the goodness of the team, too. Like, the transformation that he's made this offseason, I feel like is for the betterment of this team and not just him. Now, here's what I will also say. This is where I think the bigger challenge comes into just a couple of guys that come to the top of mind. Now, I don't know these guys personally. I'm just projecting on how I feel like situations could go. But Tavondre being one of those guys, making sure that he takes a second-year jump. And I'll say this, too, forcing him to take a second-year jump. And whoever is the loser, and I think it's going to end up being James Williams at the inside linebacker position.
It is, yeah.
Making sure that he stays locked in. Like, that is where this vocal leadership takes place. This is where you have guys that, hey, I made 1 or 2 plays a game. No, this is where this leadership takes them to another level, because it's easy for those guys to fall back because, well, we got our guys now. And that's the most fatal thing you can do while you're still trying to rebuild a team.
To the note on Tavondre Sweat, there appeared to be optimism on him getting back there for week 1 as well. Brian Callahan said he seems good right now. He's been involved in practice all week. We'll see how next week shakes out for him, but we expect to be in a pretty good spot. Callahan says for him right now, it's a conditioning and football shape thing. He's missed a decent amount of time in there, so it's getting him up to speed with the conditioning and the pads. Again, I feel like at the very least, same thing with Snead on Sweat. I don't expect a full snap count and full workload for Tavondre Sweat in Denver. I'll just believe that when I see it at altitude for a guy that hasn't played football in a little bit and hasn't practiced football in a little bit.
This is where the challenge comes for him. It really is. Last year was a great year for him as a first-year starter.
Agreed.
Walking to the league, he beat the weight allegations.
Exceeded my expectations.
Yes, all of those types of things, man. I really want to see, because it's crucial to this defense. It's the best thing that can happen for Jeff. I'm talking about Shot Total. I'm talking about Sebastian Joseph Day and your linebackers that we believe, I think, as people that cover them, this linebacker is a step above what it was last year.
Agreed.
If you don't get the best out of Tavondre this year, right, and his ability to be selfless and take on blocks and also just be dominant, the linebackers mean not much to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those two positions will work together.
I agree.
And his conditioning, I'm hoping his condition is because he has not played,
right?
Not because of his weight.
Mm-hmm. I think the leadership thing is interesting and something to follow. I think that the coaching staff and organization truly believes it has found the right type of veterans on short-term deals to mentor young players.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to mentor guys in August when you're 0-0. This does not necessarily mean that you're going to reap short-term benefits from this team surprising everybody or winning a bunch of games. I'm not going to promise that. What I will say confidently is that I do think there are long-term benefits we won't see this year to having a lot of veterans who care, to having Kevin Zeitler, who I think is a major benefit to the offensive line room, to having an older J.C. Latham, who they talked about yesterday too and said he's going to be fine for Denver. I don't think there's any concern about him being hurt. He just isn't out there yet. He's got something minor going on. They feel better about their leadership.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that progresses if things get off to a rough start because they got a really tough, difficult start to their schedule. But it's the kind of leadership, Ramon, that I think they believe keeps everyone engaged and rowing in the same direction if they have a tough start to the season. That's what I think is different about this Titans team versus last year. I think there's an expectation for those veterans like, hey, guys, just work with us.
Yeah.
Just stay with us. Follow us. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna get on the field and do some stupid things. We're gonna lead you. We're gonna bring somebody with us, but hang with us if things don't go well at the start. That is the major benefit, I think, of what long term could help this Titans season.
You're not teaching how to lose. You're teaching guys how to fight through losing situations.
And you've got veterans who are engaged, and I don't think are going to be checking out if that happens. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
615-737-1045. Sally just asked on YouTube, what's up with Latham? Yeah, it's a minor thing that I don't think they're concerned about. From what Brian Callahan said yesterday, he said he's good. He missed a little bit of time with the same soreness and issues. I don't think it is anything that is going to keep him out, but we'll see how he gets through the weekend.
We get designations next week, right?
Yes, we do.
Coaches do not want to give up information if they don't have to.
I saw him walking a little gingerly at practice. That was, I guess, last week when we were out there after one individual rep. It is a lower body thing. I don't think it's serious.
Right.
I think it's the kind of thing that with a little bit of rest, cleared right up.
That bonus week that they had right now.
Yep. If the game was this weekend, maybe I think he'd still play, but I think he'd be a little more concerned. But next weekend, I think he'll be fine. Coming up, college football week 1. Some games we've not yet talked about. We're going to go rapid fire through 3 of them. Baylor-Auburn, which I'm calling the Baptist Bowl. Again, I can say that. I grew up Baptist and am a Baptist. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Miami. We'll dive into all that coming up next. Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. For as little as $14 a month, become a Lee Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Even better, Lee Company Plus members receive up to 20% off on every visit and enjoy priority service. So learn more at leecompany.com/plus. That's platinum home protection starting with a Lee Company Plus membership and online at leecompany.com/plus. The beauty of this membership is you're always ahead of Mother Nature, whether it's heating when it's cold, whether it's cool in your house when it is warm. You stay ahead by getting these 4 annual visits. $14 a month. Check it out. 615-567-1000. Online at leecompany.com/plus. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramona Willow 1045, The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned and operated in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. We will dive into the Cowboys Micah Parsons debacle. Coming up in 15 minutes to start hour 2, a groundbreaking trade. Ramon, I got to stop taking naps because when I take naps, something crazy happens. Like when John Robinson got fired, I was taking a nap.
Yeah, you were.
And this move made me feel a little bit like that yesterday. But we got college football games tonight to preview. Baylor and Auburn. Texas version of Auburn and the Alabama version of Baylor. Two universities who are so similar, playing each other, Ramon. This is a really interesting quarterback matchup. Sawyer Robertson, one of the breakout players of last year, the top returning QBR quarterback in college football. Threw for more than 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, despite not taking over until Big 12 play. Baylor, Ramon, last year was the Big 12's version of Florida.
Okay.
Dave Aranda was out. Things were bad. They bring in a quarterback. Boom.
Fixed.
Totally different. Jackson Arnold at Auburn. Do you believe that he is going to help them take a next step as a program?
How many stops has he had as a quarterback?
This is only stop number 2.
This is only 2.
I feel like he's the new Spencer Rattler.
I personally don't know if I trust Hugh Freeze enough to make Jackson Arnold that good of a quarterback. He's done a lot. But he's also said the wrong things as it pertains to how he's treated his quarterbacks in practice. It's almost as if he's coddling him, and maybe Jackson Arnold needs that more than anything. But when you look at what Hugh Freeze is, I feel like his instability at times, it just might not be the right fit for him at Auburn. Like right now, Auburn is slated to win. They're favored by 2.5 points. But the matchup predictor has them at they got Baylor winning this actual game. I don't think he can do it, Will. I know Babs is probably going to hate me for this one, but I don't think highly of what Auburn is, to be quite honest with you.
I think Auburn may have a playoff roster if they had above average quarterback play. I just don't think they're going to get above average quarterback play.
No.
They've got a great offensive line. They have one of the best trio of wide receivers in all of college football. I think Eric Singleton is a stud. I think Horatio Fields is a stud.
What a name.
We know who, for a name like Horatio, you got to be a stud. With Cam Coleman coming back for year 2, like the pieces are there. And Auburn last year per play in terms of their efficiency as an offense was good. They just threw the ball to the other team all the time. I don't know if that gets fixed with Jackson Arnold of all quarterbacks. It just does not seem like the type of QB to alleviate a lot of those issues that this offense had last year. Mm-hmm. I don't know. A Dave Aranda defense on the road in primetime. I think Auburn wins really close, but I think it's ugly. I think it's one of those, it's like a 16-13 or like a 21-20 NFL score. They go under the total. I think it's just get out of there with a win if you're Auburn, and I think they barely do.
What did Jackson Arnold learn at Oklahoma last year that would make us think that he would be the guy, though, right? Because, he was backing up a freshman when he got there. Then he got beat out by a freshman last year, too. Like, where is his floor? How low is his floor of playmaking?
Last year, we saw his floor. The beauty for Auburn is you have Ashton Daniels, you have Deuce Knight. Yeah. I feel like you got options.
That's true, too.
But I don't know. Jackson Arnold, here's the positive, Auburn fans, because many of you listen, because many of you live here. And I'm friends with so many of you. The argument you'll make for Jackson Arnold is he had no O-line and no receivers. You have both of those at Auburn. Mm-hmm. At one point last year, like Oklahoma's top 4 receivers were all hurt at the same time.
That's true.
And that offensive line could not, it was a turnstile.
Yes.
So, Hugh Freeze, quarterback guy, I don't know. Hugh Freeze throughout his career has been very consistent. He will beat Saban and win some big games. He'll also lose to Brett Bielema at Arkansas and lose some bad ones. And I really have no confidence level in what happens.
Seems like you're wrestling with this one on. Like this is your game you're watching tonight.
I don't know whether or not to drink the Kool-Aid since we're in Waco. Virginia Tech and South Carolina play. You just got it. Virginia Tech and South Carolina play in Atlanta on Sunday afternoon. Never underestimate what desperation can do for a coaching staff because Brent Pry and Virginia Tech have plenty of it. Yeah. Year 4 for Brent Pry. The Hokies have finished each of the last 2 seasons 6-6 with a bowl win and a bowl loss for a combined record of 13-13. They had 8 straight win seasons at Virginia Tech. From 8 straight 10-win seasons from 2004 to 2011. They have won since then in the past 13 years. Major pressure on Brent Pry and Virginia Tech against the guy who, Ramon, could be the best quarterback in the SEC when the season is all said and done in Lenore Sellers.
Mm-hmm. The other thing going for them, too, is Virginia Tech is going to have a rushing game, too. If they can get past that and keep Lenore Sellers off the field, I think they got a good chance of keeping this tight. I think the spread on this one's 13.5. No, what was it? I ended up picking this game this past weekend. 7.5. I got Virginia Tech plus 7.5 on this one. It is, I think, a close, I don't know if you want to call this a rivalry, but I'm not turning my nose up at what Virginia Tech is and what they have historically been capable of. There's emotions involved in this one. And again, I like South Carolina's coach. I do. I like Shane. I like Shane Beamer, and what he's done at South Carolina deserves a whole lot more credit. But I'm not sure if he's ready to meet the expectations of what South Carolina has in front of them this year, too.
Give me South Carolina big.
You do?
Yep.
I took the other side on this one.
I'm a believer.
I don't see this one.
I don't know. I've heard good things about what Mike Shula has done as the OC there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike Shula is the OC in South Carolina, for those of you who are just locking into SEC football stuff today. They got their Utah State running back transfer, Rachel Faison, eligible on Monday. 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. Yeah, they just got him eligible Monday.
Don't you love how colleges work?
No, I don't love the way the NCAA
I'm just
works.
saying, like,
not even a little bit.
Look at it just on Monday. Oh, right before the season kicks off, right.
Notre Dame, Miami. Man, this one's fascinating. 2 of the best offensive lines in America. Mm-hmm. I don't think C.J. Carr is ready for the bright lights and what is supposed to be a sold-out Miami stadium. I don't know, though. They don't often fill the seats there, but they have apparently for this one. I think Miami on defense is fascinating this year, Ramon, because on offense, we know what Carson Beck brings if he's right. Mm-hmm. We know what Shannon Dawson and Mario Cristobal have. I think Carson Beck is solid this year. I think he's solid.
You do?
I do. I don't know if he's NFL first-round pick solid, but I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that would love to play behind a Mario Cristobal offensive line. I have more questions about the defense that is just totally new this year.
I think hands down Notre Dame gets this one.
Really?
Only thing that can affect them would be the weather, but I don't even think it's going to be that bad at a 6:30 kickoff or 7:30 kickoff for them. That's the only thing, because that climate change can mean a lot to those guys that hadn't felt that South Florida heat. That's their only advantage to them in this one. Again, new quarterback for Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken.
C.J. Carr?
Yes, C.J. Carr. And until Carson Beck shows me that he can spin it competently and he can be the reason why they win, I'm taking Notre Dame. And just a style of defense I feel like they're going to play too.
615-737-1045. Hour 2 coming up. Brent Hubbs of VolQuest at 7:20. And the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons. We'll take a look at both teams' perspectives on this groundbreaking move in the NFL coming up next.
Prince's Hot Chicken, the original hot chicken. They know a thing or two about hot, so they are bringing you the hottest moments of the week from Ramon and Will. This is a segment I like to call Prince's Hot Mic.
I got a guy, Hunter Renfrow.
He looks slower because of his haircut.
He needs to just chop this up.
You just got to let it go,
baldy,
guy.
Yeah, baldy guy.
Let's follow the Brock Bowers method and just let it go.
Let it go, like Elsa said.
Like Elsa said. It's hard to be a quick slot receiver who's balding. Everyone loses their hair as they get older. Like, I'm not judging, but not all of us are NFL slot receivers.
We shamed that man in his hair.
We're bald shaving before 7 a.m. That's crazy.
I'm here for it, though, man. Screw it. Let's roll.
He can take a lesson from Brock Bowers.
That's what I just said.
Were you not listening?
That's what I literally just said. Are we interrupting your work over there?
Yes.
Way to go, Jay.
It had not been 30 seconds since I said that.
You know who else he can take after Will? Brock Bowers.
Yeah, no.
Hot mics and hot chicken. Prince's knows hot. Prince's Hot Chicken, the original hot chicken. It is 7:03. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans officially wrapped up training camp yesterday, and preparations for the Denver Broncos for Week 1 begin next week. A blockbuster trade yesterday in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys are trading All-Pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Parsons and the Packers then agreed to a 4-year, $188 million extension, including $136 million guaranteed. At $47 million per year, Parsons becomes now the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And some big Tennessee Vols news yesterday. Per Hayes Fawcett of Rivals, 5-star wide receiver Tristan Key has flipped his commitment from LSU to Tennessee. Vols head coach Josh Heupel lands the top wide receiver in the 2026 class, who's been committed to LSU since March. Also, Tennessee athletic director Danny White announced that the school has signed head basketball coach Rick Barnes to a lifetime contract yesterday. Barnes will earn $6 million per year on that contract, which will always have 3 years remaining on it, essentially meaning Barnes is the Tennessee coach as long as he wants to be until he decides to retire. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the 7 a.m. hour on this Friday morning. Good morning. Hope you're having a good start to your day. You can make it even better with a trip to Scooter's Coffee. Scoot on down to one of their locally owned locations in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Coming up in 15 minutes, we will be joined by VolQuest's Brent Hubbs. Keys from Ramon Foster on Tennessee versus Syracuse coming up in hour number 3. And Syracuse and Titans legend Keith Bullock joins us at 9:20. Ron Slay on his island vacation, unbothered this morning, and we are not going to bother him to do a little bit of work with us. 615-737-1045. He's Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins is our producer. I'm Will Bowling. The Dallas Cowboys have done the unthinkable, trading Micah Parsons for a pair of first-round picks plus 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Kenny Clark. Let's start from the Cowboys' perspective, Ramon Foster. What in the world are they thinking, and how do you grade this from the Dallas point of view?
What were they thinking? Jerry was thinking. I don't think it was a they. I think this was a single person that I was reading something said Jerry Jones let his emotions get in the way. I do think Jerry has an attachment to guys that really make plays for him. Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Troy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you reel off guys, Dez also, to where he feels like there are no other options for them other than the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like he let that attachment of Micah become a star, think that he was the star representation, and that Micah would bend the knee, or he and his agent, David Mulugeta, would just do as Jerry said. And I feel like that's the part of the where Jerry let emotions take over the business for him. And when you are trying to sustain yourself and be one of the best teams and the biggest brands in football in general, you got to remove all that and say what's good for the franchise. Now, I will say, best thing that Jerry Jones did was, if he felt like he was done wrong, not bend the knee. That is the best thing that he could have did for the franchise. And to be quite honest with you, his old age and integrity, right, of what he feel like the Dallas Cowboys are. But Jerry feeds this beast weekly, yearly, on how his guys are the best guys in the world. And you know what I got to give credit to? Micah Parsons on this. Micah Parsons, one, made plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He made himself an item. And then, as much as I don't like it, he put himself on a podcast, and he made Dallas Cowboys fans Micah Parsons fans. It was, and I don't think this was his plan. I think he was just simply making money. But he made himself just as important to the people that focus on him, as important as the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
And that's where he lost. Jerry did.
The Packers got their next Reggie White. They did it again.
Who's DB, the one, the Heisman?
Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson. Heard somebody say that this morning. Every time the Green Bay Packers have made a move like this, they have gotten a Super Bowl out of it.
So Micah Parsons and Reggie White are the only players in NFL history to record at least 12 sacks in each of their first 4 seasons. 52.5 sacks in 4 years for Micah Parsons, fifth most in a player's first 4 seasons. The Cowboys are now left with Dante Fowler Jr., Marshawn Nealand, Sam Williams, and second-round pick rookie Donovan Ezeraku at edge rusher. Those players have combined for 73 sacks in their careers. Jerry Jones's message to the fan base yesterday was, quote, "This was a move to be better in the playoffs." This was a move to stop the run. This was a move to, when we get behind, that we don't get run on. This was a well-thought-out move. Buddy, Jerry, this was a lot of things. It was not a move to get better. You got your feelings hurt. You tried to negotiate without a guy's agent in the room, and you got snake bit by it. And the guy completely refused to negotiate with you after that happened. I fully believe that side of the story for Micah Parsons. I think Jerry Jones got over-emotional, and I think the lead-up to this and the build-up to why they had to trade Micah Parsons could not have been handled worse. If you trade Micah Parsons, you do it at the NFL draft. That way you can immediately recoup some of the benefits to keep yourself in a win-now window, and B, maximize the value that you get, because you've lost a lot of your leverage now. You still had the majority of it because, Ramon, in the NFL, the team always has the leverage. Le'Veon Bell is the best example of why the team always has the leverage.
That's true.
There are plenty of examples that if you sit out for an extended period of time, you don't just jump back in and become the same player. Like, eventually he was going to have to strap it up and say, I got to go play. And this move does help them with Kenny Clark in the short term, but who do they have to rush the passer? I mean, Dante Fowler Jr., Marshawn Nealand, Jerry Jones goes on to say, we could use those picks to go get somebody right now. Don't rule that out. Like, buddy, you need to go into politics with how much you are spinning things that are just really, really not going well for you. Really not going well.
Facts.
And where I believe, again, and we talked about it to start the show this morning, the reason I personally believe this is worse than the A.J. Brown trade for the Titans is, A, the timing. At the very least, the Titans at least got a draft pick out of it they could use that night. I know it's less compensation, but let's not forget also how injured A.J. Brown was. A.J. Brown had never played a full season other than 16 games in 2019, 11 starts. Micah Parsons is available. He is productive. He is a generational player. Of course, he's going to get 2 first-round picks. He's more valuable as an edge rusher because edge rusher is more valuable than wide receiver.
To be honest with you, I don't think we can compare which one is worse. Like, thinking about it, like, you asked me this before we came back on air, and I initially said I think the AJ was worse. But then you can't say this because just the optics of it. Michael Parsons is a star in the NFL. He's a poster boy. A.J. Brown turned into one.
Sure.
Right now, the Eagles have justified this trade because A.J. Brown directly helped them win a Super Bowl. Michael Parsons hasn't.
And the Cowboys, to be fair to them, could justify this by knocking it out of the park with their 2 first-round picks. We don't have all the info yet.
But here's the other part of it, though, too. The other part of it is this one may be an even split because this conversation essentially is telling us the Dallas Cowboys are resetting. They now have 3 first-rounders under their belt. Their own plus the 2 that they've gotten.
It's a soft rebuild.
It's a soft rebuild is what they're doing. And that's essentially what the Titans should have done, I guess you can say, with the A.J. Brown trade, was turn it into a soft rebuild immediately. Instead, they wanted to become more competitive. So that's why I say you got to separate these two, and I don't think you can say that one's worse than the other one with how this one broke down.
From the Packers' perspective, it is a very un-Packers-like move.
Very much.
To trade 2 first-round picks.
Yep.
To me, it tells me, Ramon, 2 things. One, Brian Gutekunst is feeling the pressure. New president and CEO there in Green Bay, Ed Policy. It's funny to me that a president is named Policy. Has refused to give them contracts, new contracts. They're both, Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst, are under contract for the next 2 seasons through 2026. So that's first and foremost. They, I think, feel the pressure a little bit to go from good to great. Secondly, they believe they have a Super Bowl roster. Otherwise, you don't do this deal. They believe that this is the next piece to get them over the hump from good to elite because they have been really, really good under Matt LaFleur in the regular season. Back-to-back NFC title games, 19 and 20. They made the playoffs in 5 of Gutekunst's 7 seasons as GM. They have 0 Super Bowl appearances.
They got the first-round wide receiver now They got young talent at other positions.
Yep.
The other part for me is this. That's why I say it goes back to the Titans. If you put yourself in a position to where Jerry Jones wanted to move up and get a top 10 pick, if the Titans are picking in the top 10, this can benefit the Tennessee Titans for a quarterback because Dak is making $60+ million a year. This is the reset for the Cowboys.
Game day tomorrow means that it is time for our first visit from Zach in Hendersonville. Some lyrics, some Shakespearean thoughts, perhaps, on the Vols in Syracuse tomorrow. Good morning, Zach. How are you?
Morning, Zach.
Good morning. Doing well. Ramon, Will, Jayhawk. I just have a few things to say about some Orange men. All right, let's get it. Donovan, Campbell's, Chunky, McNabb.
Freaking bum.
Keith, and actual Titans legend, Bullock.
Man, you ain't handsome.
Fran, the back of his pants are going to be brown.
Freaking bum.
I just have a small poem for the Syracuse University, and it goes, Song of the South, sweet potato pie and shut Fran's mouth. When we get finished with you and your team, you'll be burnt orange. It's opening week, and Vol fans are going to blow a fuse. Syracuse flying all the way to Hotlanta for some big orange abuse. Joey, Miles, and Arion will be on the loose. Mike Keith and Ramon Foster on the call. And Josh Heupel showing the world that he knows ball. It don't matter. Balls by 50.
There he is, Zach in Hendersonville. Perfect way to kick off a game day weekend. We'll continue that same energy with VolQuest's Brent Hubbs coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed right, or if somebody's just trying to sell you something you do not need. When you call Hiller, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. No hidden fees or surprises on your bill, all right? Hiller's been in business for over 35 years, and they are family-owned and operated, too. Their techs are very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background checked and drug screened. So if you want to book with Hiller like I do, they're coming out to my house next week, just so you know. I also use Hiller, man. But the website is happyhiller.com. And be sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramona Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone on a game day eve for Tennessee football, along with Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster. I am Will Bowling, joined as we are every Friday at this time by VolQuest's Brent Hubbs, who will be on the sideline for Vol Network coverage of Tennessee and Syracuse right here on The Zone tomorrow. Brent, we made it. I want to be the first, maybe not this week, but this morning, to wish you a congratulations. Welcome to football season. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. If Ramon Foster has me somewhere tonight and he asks the bartender for something that's got a little dust on the bottle, we might not make it to kickoff in the morning, but we're going to do our best to be there, and it is exciting. It's fun. It's off seasons have certainly taken on a different tone because there's so much stuff the entire summer that camps feel a little bit different. They seem to drag on a little bit, but everybody's ready to play. We got an appetizer of it last night. We'll get a little more tonight, and then we'll get to the ball yard and go early on Saturday. Should be a lot of fun.
I love it. Well, Brent, I want to start with just a quick question on the broadcast and on you guys kind of beginning a new era of the Vol Network tomorrow, because I know a lot of people are interested in that, and it's going to be on our airwaves tomorrow. Just where's your excitement level for Mike Keith, for Ramon Foster, Jason Swain, and yourself? And fans are really going to enjoy this tomorrow, Brent, of really a new sound and in a lot of ways on and off the field, a new era of Tennessee football.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a blast. We know Mike's preparation. We know what Mike does in the booth. We know the standard that he has, and the rest of us are trying to not screw the standard up. And my job in the pregame, as I told Ramon and Jason last night, is, I'm the nerd with numbers, and my job is to serve up the beach balls to them and let them knock them out of the park, because there's the football experts. And then I'll get my feet wet on the sidelines and figure out exactly how all of that works. That'll be a new experience for me. But there's been a ton of work that has gone into making this happen tomorrow, and it'll continue to be a work in progress. It'll evolve. I mean, it's not a finished deal right out of the gates. It never has been, never will be. But they got a lot of great people, a lot of really talented people, from the engineering side to Larry Stone hosting, and all these people that are involved, that my job is not to screw it up. So we're going to do our best not to screw it up tomorrow. It should be a blast. I think fans will like it.
Yours and mine too, Hubs. Okay, just say, if you hear me say something like, "That's just Ramon," that's what we'll use. That's just Ramon.
Well, I can relate to nerd with numbers. That was my nickname in high school. Brent, as you look at Tennessee and Syracuse on the field tomorrow, difficult matchup to really evaluate, right? Because both teams are so different. Syracuse was dreadful stopping the run last year. Tennessee obviously wants to start there behind what may be a better offensive line than it was last year. Do you see that being the biggest advantage Tennessee has when it is able to run the football in this game tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I think you're banking on Tennessee being able to run the football, because that's what Tennessee does. When you look at the Josh Heupel era, 2,500 yards or more every season that he's been here. They've been good on the road. The magic number's kind of 150 yards. That's where you want to be. Tennessee, when they're on the plus side of 150 on the road, man, they're really good, and they win a lot of football games that way. They haven't lost many of those. So they've got to be able to run it effectively. But this is a complete and utter game of unknowns. You have two quarterbacks going to play in this game, and neither one of them went through spring practice with the team they're going to play for. That's just the day and age of college football we're in. That's unheard of from a few years ago. Completely revamped at the receiver position. Tennessee's got 4 new offensive linemen starting on their offensive line. So does Syracuse. Tennessee's got a couple of high school kids that they've recruited, David Sanders and Jesse Perry, who are going to be the lineup. Syracuse has got 4 transfers. And then for Syracuse, I think the question is, what kind of growth do they make defensively from year 1 to year 2? Their whole deal last year was that they played a little bit like a MAC team, just tried to outscore everybody. They wanted every game to finish 38-35. That was their best chance to win, is they had to get near the 40-point plateau because they gave up 30 points a game. Are they better defensively in year 2? And then what wrinkles do both teams have tomorrow? I mean, if you watched games last night, you had some teams with some slow starts. That's kind of a given. You're hoping that you're not that type of team. And you got some quirky stuff that happens. You're just hoping you get settled in and get comfortable if you're Tennessee.
Brent Hubbs with us, a Vol question on 3 this morning, discussing Vols and upcoming weekend. Hubbs, with that being said, too, man, you got to always think of the threat of the opposing team. What is something that Syracuse could do that could throw the Vols off? Something not self-inflicted from the Vols.
Well, I think that it's what new wrinkles or how do they approach the passing game? What do they do at the slot receiver spot? You know, they lost Pena, the big play or the most productive receiver for them. He went to Penn State, kind of up and left him in the spring. But they bring in the Cook kid from Texas who has a world of talent. What do they do with him? They've supposedly moving him around everywhere. How do they work this revamped receiving core against a Tennessee secondary that is not what you thought it was going to be personnel-wise to, coming out of the Ohio State game last year? You felt like you got 4 starters coming back, and that's not the case because Jermon McCoy is not going to play with that torn ACL, and I don't think Boo Carter is going to start at the star position. I think that's going to be Jalen McMurray. So I think you want your secondary to get settled in because Syracuse may come out and throw it 45 times a game, and that's what they did a year ago. I don't think they're going to be able to line up and run it, but they got a 235-pound tailback. Maybe they commit to trying to run it more than they did a year ago. I think the big play threat, you just don't want to give up cheapies, Ramon. Yeah. And that's the thing that jumps out. They've had a couple speedy receivers. You don't want to give up anything cheap in the back end. And Tennessee was good at that last year defensively. They made teams work for it. I think those are your fears in game one. It's just a complete and utter bust somewhere back there, and somebody gets a walk-in. You don't want to give one of those up particularly early.
When you look at this group and this establishment of wide receivers, right? Like Mike Matthews gotta go get it. Braylon Staley gotta go get it. The tight ends gotta show up. But I bring that up to ask this question because Syracuse is very high on their. Listen to me real quick, Hubs. 17-year-old freshman, too. Okay.
A reclassified 17-year-old freshman, by the way. He graduated a year early to go to college.
And that's what Demetrius Samuels Jr. is the name, right? If I'm not mistaken. Do you pick on him? Is that something you do with Mike Matthews, like a point in this game to where, look, you're supposed to be a senior getting ready for prom and whatnot right now. Is this something that you would attempt to do going into this weekend?
Well, we don't know how any young player is going to react to being under the lights. I mean, you remember the first time you dressed and played. I mean, like, wait a minute, what are we here at? Now you're talking about a 17-year-old doing that. A guy should be playing high school football on a Friday night. Tennessee's got some freshmen that are going to play a lot of snaps in this game. So, yeah, I mean, I think anytime you see that, you think, I'm going to go at them. I mean, the corner on the other side of that tandem for Syracuse is a Georgia transfer. Wow. Hadn't played a ton, but he's been in a program at Georgia. He's been on the sideline. You think he's played special teams. You think he's got a feel for it. Here's a guy who's, I mean, for lack of better words, is fresh meat. I think you're going to go at him early and see if you can make something happen. Now, he's 6'1", 185. It's not like he's a little guy out there. But can you do some things to him? Can you double move him? Can you do some stuff from a schematic standpoint that gets him out of position? I think you absolutely test a guy like that early.
Is this also where pace can throw him off? Like, I've heard the rumors. I feel like we're expecting the up-tempo. This is where you take advantage of him, especially in game one, Hubs.
If you can, and now to do that, you got to make that first down. You got to win. You got to win some on first down. But yeah, the pace is. What's fascinating about the pace is it's not just this constant every play type deal. It's what can do it in spots. It's when you get a 20-yard gain and then you can sprint to the ball and get started. South Florida did that fantastically last night and really wore Boise State out. So it's when you want to go fast, can you go as fast as you want to go? Is your operation where it needs to be that you can go as fast as you want to when the moment hits to go fast? And that's what Tennessee, I think, is optimistic and hoping for. But what other wrinkles does Tennessee have in this game? Are there some tweaks? We've heard about tweaks the entire offseason. What do those look like? That's what I get to with the game of unknowns. I mean, is Syracuse going to line up spread out, or are they going to line up in a tight formation and try to run the football at you? There's a lot of feeling out in the first quarter of these games. I think of a couple of different occasions in openers where Josh Heupel has said after the game, yeah, they did some things differently structure-wise defensively than what they had shown on tape. Lots of teams in the offseason put in something they think will work, and you have to adapt and you have to adjust to it. The team that adapts the quickest seizes the momentum in the game. And the question is, offensively, can Tennessee adapt as fast as they need to with young players? On the flip side, defensively, you feel like they should be able to adapt, Ramon, with Jeremiah Thielander and Arion Carter, some more veteran guys up front, Ricky Gibson, Andre Turntine. You feel like they could adapt on the fly. Offensively, with the youth they're playing, how quick can they adapt? And then I think the other thing to watch in this is that defensive front of Tennessee. What kind of games do they try to play against an offensive line that has 4 guys who are learning a brand new system that were playing in a different college system back last December? How much is their continuity as all new guys, and can Tennessee take advantage of that with some schematic things up front with their defensive front?
Right.
Brent Hubbs of All Quested on 3, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Brent, where is the health of this wide receiver room going into this game with Chris Brazzell, Mike Matthews, and Braylon Staley all being sidelined at some points of fall camp? Are those guys each 100% at this point?
If nobody trips going to the bus today, I think they're going to be good to go.
Perfect.
They have practiced all week. That's the positive. For about the last 10 days, 12 days, they've all been on the field together after missing the first 2 weeks. After not being together, I should say, for the first 2 weeks for various guys missing. They have practiced a good bit together here the last week and a half, which I think is good for Joey Aguilar. I think it's good for this offense and continuity. And it looks like and feels like everybody should be good to go tomorrow. And hopefully that track will be plenty fast, and this wide receiver core can kind of get going and answer some questions. Because, let's face it, when Tennessee goes on offense, no offense to Deshaun Bishop, no offense to the tight ends, everybody's watching to see if these wide receivers can get open and this passing game can get going.
Brent, when you talk about Joey Aguilar and just Josh Heupel having a gunslinger quarterback, and I know it's the question we've talked about with you all offseason, and I partly ask it again just because so many people are kind of locking back in right today and getting ready for the season again. But how does Josh Heupel manage a turnover-prone quarterback at Appalachian State? Does this offense for you take away some of the decision issues that Joey made at App State just on the basis of wide receivers on a lot of choice routes, making a lot of those choices for him? How does Josh Heupel manage this, Brent? And how do you think Joey Aguilar functions this season in this offense?
Well, I think he's going to get better as he goes along. Okay, he was better from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. He got better in scrimmage 2, got a better understanding and a better feel for things. I think that you can simplify some stuff, right? And you can half read it, half field it and kind of limit some of the progression if you feel like you need to. You can get him out and get him on the move. You can give him some RPO stuff. If I'm Joey Halsley and I'm Josh Heupel, this week I have sat down and we've gone through a bunch of film with Joey Aguilar, and I keep coming back to this question to him. What are you most comfortable with right now? And Joey Aguilar, you better be honest. Like, what do you like? Because I'm building out a script to start the game. Tennessee scripts, not the whole first quarter, but they script a good bit of the start of the game. So I want to go with, what do you like? What are you comfortable with? Let's start there and then build moving forward in this offense. And I think that's how you help Joey Aguilar as much as you can. Now, when you go tempo, you can't do a lot of the check with me stuff. You can't get in the microphone and pull the Kevin O'Connell and tell everybody, hey, watch the safety here, and do the things that we've seen on that all the NFL coordinators are doing that you can do in college now. You can simplify it, particularly if you go slower. If you're going tempo, it's a little bit harder. But you can communicate. You can give them some ID stuff, some heads-up stuff to help them see the field a little bit better. What you don't want to do, in my opinion, Will, is you don't want to handcuff him. You don't want to spend all your time talking about don't take chances, don't be risky, don't play your game. We got to do this. You got to be there. I mean, he's got to play his style of football. You brought him here. You knew exactly what you were getting. You saw the tape. You're not going to harness that completely. He's going to let it rip some. There'll be a mistake there along the way. I just don't think you can get him so mentally overloaded that he's got some paralysis and he's afraid to throw the football. You got to get it out of your hands, make quick decisions, and go play.
No doubt. Hubs, Will and I both have something in our hand, and we're going to make a jingle real quick, okay?
Oh, no, this sounds dangerous.
Those are keys. How Hubs, talking about Tristan Keys.
Hopefully we're doing that in the fourth quarter tomorrow, too. But anyway, continue.
Seriously. I guess a couple things. How did this come about? Was it solely Adidas? Was it the relationships at the University of Tennessee? And thinking about next year when he enrolls, why is this flip so important to this offense, too?
Well, let's start with his game, okay? He's got great speed. He's got great size. He's got great body control, good hands. He is a wide receiver. He is not an athlete learning to play wide receiver. He is a wide receiver. I think that helps your transition. I think he's a guy who can come in and make a quick impact as a midterm enrollee because of all the attributes that he has about his game. From a recruiting standpoint, yeah, I mean, the Adidas thing is there, and I don't think you discount the Adidas thing, but I think it's a really injustice to say, and I know people around the country, LSU folks and everybody else is just going to say it was all Adidas and NIL bought and everything was through Adidas. That's unfair to Kelsey Pope. That's unfair to the work Tennessee put in with their collective, with Kelsey and the relationships they built. That's unfair to Faison Brandon. I mean, Tennessee's been in this one the whole time. Now, he stunned everybody and surprised everybody when he upped and committed to LSU on an unofficial visit. His mom was surprised he committed to LSU on an unofficial visit. He got caught up in the moment. Tennessee never stopped, and that's where Kelsey Pope and everybody should deserve credit. They didn't go, okay, well, we're done there, and then all of a sudden there's an Adidas deal. Oh, okay, we can get him now. That's not how this worked. They got him on campus multiple times. Kelsey Pope talked to him every chance he could. Every week he could have a conversation. Faison Brandon worked the heck out of him and recruited him. So those guys deserve credit. Adidas, listen, it's the NIL world. And if we sit here and say NIL wasn't a factor for a 5-star, we're all lying, okay? Let's be real here. But I don't think it's a complete fair thing to say that this was just some straight apparel deal. It factored in, but you got to give Kelsey Pope and some Tennessee guys credit for the work that they put in over the last 8 months, 9 months, recruiting this guy because they stayed in it with their relationships. And then you hope Adidas helped you get across the finish line.
Brent, real quick, one more for you on the way out. It's incredible to me that a guy who's been committed to a school is going to announce a decision on Monday. Wild. But anyway, Auburn commitment Hezekiah Harris, a high 4-star edge rusher, going to announce a decision on Monday. Tennessee in the mix. How good of feelings do you think the staff has about that one?
They're definitely in it. Coach Chop has never, again, stopped recruiting. I think that's what we're learning. I mean, you look at the flips that are happening around the country. The last thing you can do when a kid goes to a different school on you is lose your mind on him and, just sever a relationship because – listen, man, these guys, when they commit in the spring, it's a long time to December. You just keep chopping the wood and see what happens. And Tennessee's in that one. I mean, you look at it and say, well, if he's going to re-announce a commitment, he's got to be flipping somewhere, right, is what you think. I don't know that that's the case because we don't always understand why guys do what they do in the recruiting process in terms of announcements. But, I mean, Tennessee's been in pretty good conversation with him. They've positioned themselves that they've been in it the whole time. Auburn's obviously struggling. You're trying to make some hay with that. So I'm not saying he's coming to Tennessee because he's not let a coach or school know anything about a final decision. But I will certainly be tuned in on Monday to see what happens because, again, I don't think Auburn feels great, but they don't know anything. I don't think Tennessee feels great because they don't know anything at this point. So what's he doing on Monday? I don't know. Get your popcorn ready. We'll all find out together, I guess, because I don't think he's going to tell anybody between now and Monday.
I didn't realize Jeremiah Smith is also an Adidas athlete.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, Adidas has really, and this is part of the attraction that Tennessee had with Adidas, is it wasn't just the financials. It's Adidas's commitment to the college athlete through the NIL world. Ambassadors, they call them. They're grassroots. It's not just basketball for them anymore. It's football. They are invested on a national level with national recruits out there. And not all of them go to Adidas schools. There's some that are playing at Nike schools that are Adidas athletes. And Adidas will handpick a few of those. They obviously want to build around schools where they are the apparel provider. But when they see a young guy that they think can be a face for them, that they may be able to use them as their face throughout their entire NFL career, Adidas is jumping on that. Travis Hunter, Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes wasn't that way in college. Jeremiah Smith, as you mentioned. So that they are very aware, conscientious, and very organized in what they're doing in the high school and college ranks with their NIL program.
Well, we will have our popcorn ready for the Vol Network coverage of Tennessee and Syracuse tomorrow. VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joins us every Friday. He will be on the call along with Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, Jason Swain. Hubbs, we're excited. Football is all the way back. I can't wait. Appreciate the time as always.
See you tonight.
Thanks,
Hubbs.
guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you this evening, Ramon.
All right. Love it. Brent Hubbs with us here this morning, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. A lot of nuggets there. Again, as jam-packed of a show as we have had here on Ramon and Will. Coming up, Vanderbilt opening the season tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. What I'm watching for, what we are watching for tomorrow is the Commodores open up 2025 next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. I want to tell you about my new obsession just in time for the football season, Daisy French Onion Dip. Yeah, that's right. You've heard me talk about this. This time of year, big chip guy. Look, my diet, everything that is going to be consumed this weekend, it's just centered around chips. That's the base of the food pyramid. It's my guilty pleasure, chips, wings, veggies, you name it. If I can dip it, I've got it going on at the tailgate tomorrow morning. Well, Daisy has come out with this delicious Daisy French onion dip and a Daisy ranch dip. You got to give these a try. They are an absolute game changer. You can look for Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you. I'm telling you, these are as delicious as a homemade dip. They're made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. Check it out at a grocery store near you. Daisy French Onion Dip. Ramona will wrap it up the first half of your Friday morning, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. We will be blazing a trail down to Atlanta after the show today.
Mm-hmm.
Smyrna location, very well maybe seeing us on the way down there. Your thoughts this morning, 615-737-1045. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock at First Bank Stadium, Vanderbilt opens the 2025 season against Charleston Southern. Commodores a 36.5-point favorite to begin the 2025 campaign. Tight end Eli Stowers, linebacker Brian Longwell, both probable but expected to play. As Vanderbilt, Ramon, has high expectations with Diego Pavia as a veteran quarterback. Clark Lee and that team coming off a 7-win season that culminated in a win in the Birmingham Bowl. What are you most interested to watch tomorrow when Vanderbilt opens up the season? What do you want to learn about that program as it begins as a heavy favorite at home?
Against Charleston Southern, it probably won't be a ton to get from it. What you can learn from that is if they turn themselves into a program that can beat the teams they're supposed to beat really easily, right? Like if Diego Pavia is sitting on the sideline going into the fourth quarter, yes, Vanderbilt's taking a step of dominance to where levels are established. They're not in the same conversation as them. And the other part of it for me is, and I think a lot of this circulates around Diego Pavia, is they went out shopping for big boys up front. If Diego Pavia is to do the Diego Pavia thing and be tough guy and run and take on hits, how will they still protect him with those guys up front? That's what I'm looking for. And the other part is, too, against a team like Charleston Southern, I might be taking all your points here because now you got me going.
No, you're good. I got plenty.
Can he make Stowers look like a first-round tight end? Not just based off potential. If he's your guy, him and Junior Sherrill, can you make those guys higher draft picks than what they already are at this point?
Sure. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think my biggest question about Vanderbilt won't be answered tomorrow because my question about Vandy is how much better can you protect your most valuable asset in Diego Pavia? I think Jordan White, the Liberty transfer on the offensive line, is one of the most important players on that roster this year. Cedric Alexander back at running back. Can they run the ball more consistently and more effectively? That's all I want to see from Vandy, if I'm a Vandy fan tomorrow, is can you impose your will against an inferior opponent on the ground? That's all this is. Go show that you can knock guys off the football, run it for 200-plus yards when you want to, however much you want to, get out healthy, and move on to Virginia Tech. That's the goal tomorrow for Vanderbilt. And when you talk about a program and a team that feels like it is significantly improved up front, Clark Lee has said he feels like this is his best offensive line he's had there. They really like the depth in their defensive line. Can Vanderbilt take a step forward and look more like an SEC program in the trenches getting off the bus? That's my biggest question about Vanderbilt this season, because if that does happen, Diego Pavia might look more like himself at the end of the season, and you might be able to get more teams down the stretch than you did last year. Vandy did a lot of their good work at the beginning of the season last year. Diego Pavia, as he got more beat up, that offense became a shell of itself. You protect him for 14 weeks and 12 games, all of a sudden, the Tennessee game's a little more gettable. The games down the stretch are a little more gettable than they were last year when that was not the Diego Pavia that played Alabama that played Tennessee.
Right. No, it wasn't. He was beat down in a sense, man. And looking at the staff that Clark Lee has, he's brought in. I was looking at something. It's the New Mexico State squad that he's brought in. That school, with how they compete, have to be very creative. I want to see what their second-year adjustment is as far as playing in the big leagues, too. How do you, now being established as a threat in college football, specifically in the SEC, you've survived knowing how to play against bigger squads before. What does this look like for Vanderbilt and Clark Lee with this staff that he's brought in, going into what you call them? They have to be comfortable now. Like, yeah, we belong. If I'm Vanderbilt and his staff on Clark Lee's side of it, I'm saying, yeah, we belong now, and we showed you guys this. Can you back it up and adjust and surprise us again? And I don't mean us as involved. I mean the college football world.
615-737-1045. Our number, Chris, is up next. What's up, Chris?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm going to get you guys started off early on some playoff talk, right?
Okay.
So last night, I don't know if you watched it or not, but there was a game involving two G5 teams.
Oh, yeah.
USF and Boise State.
Yo.
So take a look at that USF schedule, right? They play Florida next and then Miami. And after that, that gets pretty manageable for that squad. Then you also have Navy, who's in the same conference, whose only tough game is Notre Dame. Could you see a scenario going into that South Florida Navy game where the winner of that game is your G5 representative in the playoffs? And I'm going to go ahead and hang up and listen to you guys talk about it because I think that's a fun discussion that nobody's looking at.
Sure.
The possibility of Navy getting in the playoffs.
Thank you, Chris. I think it's a
Thanks,
possibility.
Chris.
I think in the American, they're not second on my list. I think Tulane and Memphis would have something to say about that as well. That conference is just wide open.
Yeah.
I think the challenge in the American is, do they all beat each other up, is the thing. I love what Alex Golish is doing. Chaz Nimrod, former Tennessee receiver, with a big game last night.
Went off.
And we've talked about that, Ramon, being kind of an early season G5 play-in game.
You've always mentioned him this entire offseason.
We said that about a month ago when we did our first playoff predictions and preview. But yeah, I mean, Navy's going to be right there. And I think there are a lot of teams in the American that could win that conference. If you were giving me, Ramon, an American team or the field to be the G5 representative in the college football playoff, I think I would take the American.
Yeah.
Especially after last night.
Yes, especially they looked well-oiled last night, man. Felt like you can do whatever they wanted to. Boise, I think, got the benefit of the doubt of just being historically a team you got to keep an eye on. Boise's out. I think if we're talking about like G5 teams getting in right now, I don't see how they bounce back after that loss last night. Just even this at the beginning of the season because it's so fragile for them right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Don't they still play Notre Dame, right?
Who? Boise?
Boise State?
Let me check and see.
Yeah, Notre Dame, October 4th.
Look at Notre Dame.
So now you just got to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If you're Boise State.
You mentioned Memphis. Never discount Memphis.
Brendan Lewis, the former Colorado quarterback at Memphis, that's a really good roster. Honestly, on paper, Memphis is going to be right there for a playoff bid. And I'm telling you, the American, if you love the way college football used to be, I invite you to watch the Big 12 and the American. Yeah. Because both those conference races are wide open. They're fun offenses. Anything can happen. You get some stupid, like 52-42 scores. Oh, that was UAB, Alabama State last night, which I was locked in on as well. Like, there's a lot of fun that's going to happen at those two conferences this year. American and Big 12. If you want just a good, wide-open conference battle this year.
No, absolutely. Let me look. What was my spread last night? Bert, 13.5. I won.
You're finally checking your Thursday 3 picks this morning.
Yep. Thanks, Bert.
You got one right.
I did get
Justin
one right.
0-1 after Nebraska failed to cover against Cincy.
Yeah, perhaps Dylan Raiola is not Patrick Mahomes Jr.
615-737-1045. Hour 3, resetting the Titans headlines on the final day of Titans training camp next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls, man. That's the website, too, medicalhousecalls.com. 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments are available and next-day guarantee. If you want to go ahead and set it up because you might have a crazy Saturday and you need an IV, guess what? You can call and text and set it up right now. 615-838-2375 is the number that you can call or text them to have them at your house whenever you need them. Again, I just told you about the Active Recovery IVs from working out or just having a long night and you just got to shake back before you got to go back to work on Monday. They do those things, but it's not just that, man. The at-home urgent care, it offers medical care without the waiting. Everything from sicknesses, infections, injuries, in-home labs, testing, and more. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, a full exam, treatment plan, and prescriptions if needed. Here's the other part of it, too. Some of you just don't like going to the waiting room. I get it. Or life just doesn't have it available for you when you need to because you can't go to the doctor's office on your break. This settles all of that. And sometimes you just want that privacy. We hate being in those situations where you got to feel like you got to talk to a doctor, you feel weird and all that type of stuff. Well, guess what? Bring them to your place, your home, your establishment. This is what Medical House Calls is. Again, the website is medicalhousecalls.com. And to call, you can call or text them to set up an appointment at 615-838-2375.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard, Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
It is 8:03. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. A blockbuster trade in the NFL went down yesterday as the Dallas Cowboys are trading All-Pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Parsons and the Packers then agreed upon a 4-year, $188 million extension that includes $136 million guaranteed. At $47 million per year, Parsons becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Per insider Tom Pelissero this morning, the trade was agreed upon 3 days ago, but the contract details still needed to be ironed out. And in Tennessee Vols news yesterday, per Hayes Fawcett of Rivals, 5-star wide receiver Tristan Keys has flipped his commitment from LSU to Tennessee. Vols head coach Josh Heupel lands the top wide receiver in the 2026 class, who's been committed to LSU since March. Also, a new era in Tennessee football begins tomorrow as Mike Keith and Ramon Foster with their first broadcast on Vol Network as the Tennessee Volunteers take on the Syracuse Orange at 11 a.m. in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You can, of course, hear that broadcast right here on 104.5 The Zone, and it all starts at 8:30. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone, second half of the show, getting started on this Friday morning. You made it not only to the end of the week, but to football season. And we had some good ones last night. Dylan Raiola in Nebraska, surviving a scare from Cincinnati and Kansas City. Taylor Swift was there, and now we can live in a world where Taylor Swift can help pay Scott Satterfield's buyout, if it comes to that. We're so back. 615-737-1045, the number. A Foster 5, keys to beating Syracuse, coming up in 15 minutes. And your comments in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon Foster, yesterday the Titans finished up training camp, and Mike Borgonzi says L'Jarius Sneed is doing great. Here is the GM talking about the corner, who was a full participant at practice yesterday.
You know, he's been doing great. You know, we got him out here at practice this week here, and, you know, really we'll see how he looks next week. But, you know, corners you can't have enough of. I know we have 7 right now in the active, and, you know, we went heavy in the O-line. Those positions are tough once you get into the season. So there's a lot of roster gymnastics you have to do here at the beginning to try to, you know, keep some guys. And corners and offensive linemen, in my experience, have been the toughest, you know, position group to really find during the season. So that's really the reason why we went heavy there.
Mike Borgonzi yesterday. I think there is, Ramon, legitimate optimism about L'Jarius Sneed. And it feels to me like he is putting together the right days, stacking days, and showing me enough to let me feel like he really is going to play next Sunday against Denver.
I think he is. It's a matter of how much. I feel like when you discuss him in this situation, considering he hasn't had any physicality that we know of, I'd almost expect in practice, too, where he's in a position where he's tagging off on guys and not tackling. When was the last time he actually brought body to ground when you look at the time that he's had off from football? But what you hired him for isn't for that. It is to cover guys. It is to be white on rice as it pertains to him covering somebody number 1 wide receiver. And that right there in itself is as wholesome as you can get. Borgonzi speaking right there, again, up-tempo and the way he was delivering that message. I feel like this time of the season right now, or the offseason, before they get to Denver, you got to somewhat say to yourself, they wouldn't speak on this if it wasn't getting more real for him.
Yep.
It works. And again, with them not having a premier rusher up front, this is what you need. I'll say this too. If Jeff does turn into something, as far as like him getting after the quarterback, you get a better version of L'Jarius and also Jarvis Brownlee in this conversation.
The two work together. With L'Jarius Sneed, you get a better version of Jeff. With a healthier, quicker, more pass rush focused Jeff, you get a better L'Jarius Sneed.
Mm-hmm.
Vice versa. It would be such a big deal for this defense to just get above average cornerback play from L'Jarius Sneed.
Absolutely.
Just to get a season Doesn't have to be elite, doesn't have to be best corner in the league the way he was in Kansas City. Just give us something to keep you on the field and keep our depth where it is, just depth.
Yep.
Not guys that have to be covering Nico Collins, Brian Thomas Jr., or Michael Pittman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
The theme of practice yesterday, just getting healthy again. J.C. Latham did not practice yesterday. Brian Callahan said he's good. Said he's missed a little bit of time with the same soreness and issues he had last week. Says, I don't think it's anything that is going to keep him out. T'Vondre Sweat has been involved in practice all week. He was out there yesterday. Callahan saying for him right now it is a matter of conditioning and football shape. Kevin Winston Jr. back out there. I don't think there's major concern about him. There's nothing new with Kevin Winston Jr. It's just the management of the knee coming off of an ACL injury last year. It is that time of year, Ramon, where guys who were not practicing at the end of camp, who probably could have if they absolutely needed to, are starting to practice again. And that's a good sign for the Titans, who are getting a cleaner bill of health as they enter a final weekend of the offseason and prepare for game week next week.
It's so funny this time of the year, too, before everything kicks off. This optimism really hits you hard. Or you talk about guys getting back, guys being in the mix when it comes time for them to practice and play a game. What I'm most excited about with this team, man, is, yes, Cam Ward does play a huge part in what they got going on. But I'll say this again. I'm not counting on Cam Ward being the savior for this team. I'm looking at guys like Cody Barton. And to be quite honest with you, Cedric Gray and Jarvis Brownlee and Jeffrey Simmons, right? Those are the guys. I want to see if Arden Key is going to reestablish himself as an edge rusher for the squad to be able to get the football back. Early in training camp, we saw those guys adamantly going after the football and putting it on the ground. Turnovers has to be a part of this so you can see more of Cam and not just worry about if Van Jefferson going to drop a ball in a non-action preseason game. Like, those are the things that we're looking for when we talk about what the outlook on this team is, with Cam, of course, being the headliner. But to me, he's not the main character this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think right away he needs a cast of characters to support him.
Yes.
It's unfair to expect Cam Ward to step in right away and be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Long term, yeah, we can live that life, maybe even by November. But right away against the top two defenses he's going to see start the season in the Broncos on the road and the Rams at home, Cam needs help.
Yep.
Absolutely. Andy, next up on the phones this morning. What's up, Andy?
Hey, in that soundbite that you ran from Berganzi, it was something I noticed yesterday that really stood out to me, that I felt that this team on the, in the back office side has really taken a big step. In previous years, they stayed deep when they got to the 53 with like wide receivers and tight ends. But he said we went with the O-line and the quarterbacks because, and this is the thing that really stood out to me, during the season trying to get those is hard. And if you think of it, the Titans the last few years, when they got the injury bug, it was really showing in the secondary and then on the O-line, and we saw the results of that. And I think those two little things are going to be big, because trying to, like, if we get need a wide receiver, tight end, those are easier to find out there that are not on teams or on practice squads versus an O-line. Nobody's going to give up a half-decent O-line guy easily, and they're not going to be available. So I think that was really telling, and I think it really gave me confidence that much more in this new administration.
Yep, that's fair. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, Andy.
I think there's an understanding of, A, how their backup performers performed in camp.
Yeah.
They tried out a lot of undrafted corners. None of them stuck. Part of it. So now you have to then replace that depth that you've waived with legitimate guys who have played. And Braylon Armour-Davis and Samuel Womack, I think, bring a level of experience and a level of just calmness to that position that if Snead is unavailable for however many games, even though it does feel like he's trending towards playing against Denver, you have a little bit more calmness about the guys you tried out there in return.
Yeah. You also went after a type and pedigree, too. What's the guy from the Colts?
Darrell Baker?
No. That was signed off waivers this past
Samuel Womack. That's what I just said.
A longer body guy that can be physical and in the mix, too. So it was experience I feel like they went for, and types. And when you have those two things and they're not expedited to play this quickly, this is insurance for you that you need. Again, I don't know how long Snead is going to be in the mix. I'd love for it to be 17 games. That way you get your ROI back, man.
It'd be huge.
It'd be huge. But you can't count on that until he shows you that here.
I agree. Looking forward to it. I think there is just a good feeling around that, just watching him practice. At least for me, just personally speaking for myself and for no one else, it was good to see L'Jarius Sneed play football yesterday.
Good.
It's a meaningful next step for him playing football next weekend in Denver, Colorado. Coming up, a Foster 5 keys for Tennessee versus Syracuse next.
It's Ramon Foster here for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. One, I just got to give a shout out to my guy, Robbie, man, the owner, man. One, awesome family, local guy in our area, man, that want to help take some of the worry around people come knocking at your doors, or if there are storms, if you got a little leak in your house, man. Again, they are trusted, family-owned Middle Tennessee company that's been serving from Clarksville to Murfreesboro for over 25 years. Yes, they stand out by building relationships and earning trust through referrals, never through, as I just told you, those high-pressure tactics, door knocking, or storm chasing, man. He straight up just told me, this is like, look, either you'll use me now or you'll use me later. My job is to be honest with you and to make sure that you're in a position that you know what's going on exactly with your roof. And that gave me a lot of confidence, because folks will just come knock on your door and just tell you, hey, you need a new roof, and they just want you to use your insurance. That's not Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. Look, if you want my guy Robbie or his company to come through and check your roof out, simply call their number, 615-868-9999, or visit the website at jewelroofing.com. That's Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, the perfect way to celebrate your Friday. A warm cinnamon roll, a breakfast sandwich, a protein smoothie, if you're hungry or if you just need some caffeine to get you kick-started. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet, Scooters Coffee locations are locally owned around Middle Tennessee. Download that Scooters Coffee mobile app. You can order ahead and make it super easy when you scoot on down to get some caffeine to start your Friday. Ramon Foster, Mike Keith, Jason Swain, and Brent Hubbs on the call for Tennessee and Syracuse. You'll hear it right here, courtesy of the Vol Network on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon, how you feeling? Excitement levels, nervousness levels that you're going to crush it tomorrow?
Excitement on a 10, nervousness at about a 6, which is perfect.
That's
for
a
what
great
you need
place
to be. Yeah, just again, the recall, the breakdown of the plays, and to be honest with you, like I said before, a lot of the folks that listen to Vol Network and Mike Keefe and the process of if you're in the car and you can't be at home watching the games, they want to hear the fan excitement. And they want to know that, look, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, call him. Like, he sucked on that play, y'all, just so you know. I won't be that crazy. Maybe not. But I got to call it as it is. Well, that's my game anyway. You know me. I'm a film guy.
No doubt.
I love the breakdown of the game. I love the setup of plays and games, too. So I kind of want to give all that to the people, man.
Sure. So let's do a Foster 5 of keys to beating Syracuse. We'll start with your 5th biggest. Do you have these in importance order?
I got them 1 to 5, 5 to 1, Will. Yes, I do.
Because you're a broadcast professional.
Listen to me, man.
Entertainer, Big J.
Listen to me, man.
Number 5, Ramon Foster, your 5th biggest key to beating Syracuse is what?
I got a slash on this one, too.
Okay. An or, if you will, like most college depth charts.
Absolutely. And I think it's the start of the game and the main conversation around this game until we get to the game. It is no Nico hangover / run game. Let's
Those
get
two
it.
go together.
Let's pop that balloon. Let's go ahead and get this thing over with, man. And the only reason I bring this up with Nico is, one, he ain't yours. He ain't ours no more. He's on a totally different coast at this point, too. But that was also carried by the run game last year, too. And that's why I'm saying if you can establish a line of scrimmage in the first game, which is always super important, can your bigs dominate the line of scrimmage? Hubbs brought that up to us also. If this is a game I don't know much about your transfers that you got coming in or going out, I at least know that we got more guys inside of that building than Syracuse does, and you know them, and you know what that run game is capable of, especially on this type of game. So erase the Nico hangover and establish the run.
I think the run game is the biggest advantage on paper that Tennessee has against Syracuse, and that becomes harder to project on this team because Syracuse is so different than it was last season. And so is Tennessee, to be fair. Syracuse, the easiest team in the conference to run on last year in the ACC. They gave up a league-worst 5 yards per carry. Brutal. They averaged 66% completion for opponents passing. That was the 3rd highest number in the ACC. So teams were not getting in 3rd and long against Syracuse last year in the ACC, and they were getting 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. You're going to have a higher completion percentage when you can afford to just check it down on 3rd and short. I think that, to me, is where Tennessee, you feel like, can really have a lot of success. We may not learn what the new look Vols offense looks like this year because they may not need to really dive deep into their bag of tricks. They might just be able to run the football 40 times and say, hey, we're going here, stop us, and still have success tomorrow. I don't know that, but that is where I think this game is won for Tennessee tomorrow.
It's the smartest thing you can do, just to be honest with you. And I got one of that in my number 4 point right there, too. Establishing a run, like you said, is the smartest thing that you can do to figure out what else you're capable of. I like my list here. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little cocky about this list, Will.
You've done the prep. You've done the work. You're ready to call a game.
I am, man. Number 4 on this list for me on my Foster 5. Young offensive line. This right side. Jesse Perry is a new starter. He's a developmental Vol. He's a homegrown guy. David Sanders also on that side. You got a defensive-minded head coach and Fran Brown on the other side of the ball. Will, I'm throwing darts. I'm throwing sandbags at him. I'm throwing disguises at David Sanders Jr. because you're going to have to prove to me that you are a 5-star. Can he and Jesse Perry establish the passing protection? And also has David Sanders Jr. gained 34 pounds, move guys a whole lot better. I told you I ain't even recognize Jesse Perry on that right side of the offensive line. But they're both bigger. They both understand the system. Can they move bodies and can they also protect as first-year starters?
Last season, Syracuse was 85th in the country in tackles for loss. Opponents were on schedule in terms of down and distance, like we just said. David Sanders is the question on the offensive line. He is the biggest question. Mm-hmm. I love what they have on the interior.
Yeah.
I think fans are going to be really impressed by how much better Lance Hurd looks and feels and is going to play this year at left tackle. Yeah. True freshman, there's going to be growing pains.
I'm talking about young freshman.
When Tennessee went to Baton Rouge and stomped LSU, a freshman, Will Campbell, started in that game for the Tigers and struggled against Tennessee's pass rush, including a then true freshman, Josh Josephs, who's a big part of the game plan tomorrow as well. That guy went in the top 10 of the NFL draft and is now a New England Patriot. There are going to be struggles and concerns because freshman tackles struggle.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much against Syracuse. Maybe in 3 weeks against Georgia will be when David Sanders really kind of gets baptized a little bit. But I think you're absolutely right. That right side of the offensive line has a lot of potential, but it also is the biggest question on a line where you feel like you've got a really strong left side with Lance Hurd and the Arizona transfer, Wendell Moy, who did not allow a single sack last year in the Big 12 at Arizona.
And have not talked a lot about Wendell Moy.
You
know what I'm saying? I have not, man. But
people around that program seem to be really high on him.
Yes,
and
they
same
are.
with Sam Pendleton, the center from Notre Dame.
And he's a steady guy. Don't say much. Just go about his business. Wendell Moy, that is.
I like it.
But the right side for sure.
Okay. What you got, number 3?
Number 3. This is an issue I think is for the year with the Vols in this offense. Will Fran Brown put a bubble on this offense, and how would the Vols defeat that? Especially when I get to my number 2 point. But if they can pop the bubble that Ohio State showed, that Arkansas showed, that Georgia continuously shows against this offense, where's the growth and evolution of that? Popping the bubble that defensive-minded coaches put on the Vols offense.
It's a great one, and Fran Brown knows how to do it with better corners, mind you, when he was at Georgia. Mm-hmm. But Fran Brown has seen the blueprint of how Georgia defenses have stopped Tennessee. The problem is that takes an elite level of defensive linemen and corners to be light in the box and still stop the run in order to feel like you are good enough on the back end to keep the explosive plays from happening. Just playing cover 4 or bracket on the back and give up room up front because you know that you can play 5-on-5 or 6-on-6 in the run game and win. I don't know if Syracuse has the bodies and the talent up front to have the same amount as Tennessee does and go hat in a hat and beat Tennessee in the run game.
Right.
They're going to have to put more guys in the box to stop Tennessee from running and put 7 defenders against 6 blockers or 8 defenders against 7 blockers and 12 personnel to then sacrifice the back end. So you're exactly right. Do Tennessee's receivers create enough separation to win their one-on-ones or even, one-on-twos at times? Major question because although, yes, there is a talent gap significantly between Tennessee and Syracuse, we got to see them do it.
Or the idea that if it is there, what are you doing to adjust? Is it, to your point, what are your skill players doing to run after catch or get into open space or get it to a point to where they got to come back down and now you can run it down their throat? Like that's I think the beauty of what you're looking for with this team. If they do put it on you, can you be patient enough to just take what they're giving you and then punch them in the mouth late?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for Joey Aguilar, who has interception concerns, I think that's a major talking point for him, having 56 touchdowns and 24 picks in 2 seasons at Appalachian State. The separation thing is huge. And two, just Tennessee staying healthy at receiver. Tennessee cannot afford to be banged up at receiver with 7 scholarship guys. And Chris Brazzell, 29 catches, 333, 2 scores last year. I mean, one of those scores was the biggest score of the year to beat Alabama. Miles Kitselman, 22 catches for 301. It feels like, Ramon, early in the season, Tennessee may overcorrect towards the tight ends and rely more on what they know about this offense, which is we know what we have at tight end with Miles Kitselman. Ethan Davis, I think, breakout star candidate this season. He's got to prove it too. But for all the questions we have at wide receiver, I think Tennessee could, early in the season at least, just try to rely more heavily on tight end because Miles Kitselman is one of the most consistent players in this football team.
I turned my mic off, by the way. Deshaun Brame has also put over 30 pounds.
Deshaun Brame is someone that's going to play this year, I think.
Yeah, as a freshman.
Freshman tight end. Him and Jack Van Dorselaer, the two freshman tight ends. Brame was seen as the higher ceiling prospect. Van Dorselaer was seen as the more college-ready right-away prospect in terms of his frame and his body, and it sounds like Brame has caught up.
It does. 30-plus pounds within a half a year, 8 months, man.
That's a lot of peanut butter sandwiches.
That's a lot of muscle right there, man.
Number 2, Ramon.
Number 2 on this list, wide receivers have to show up.
There you go.
They have to. We've spoken time and time again. Mike Matthews, the conversation of would he jump in the portal next year? We brought up Braylon Staley. We brought up Rodarius Jackson time and time again. And I'm even throwing the tight ends in this conversation too. When we spoke about the bubble that teams put on the top of this offense where you can't just get down the field, well, guess what I need to see after them because I feel like this staff has recruited a whole lot better. As Brent Hubb said earlier, Kelsey Pope and this crew and Coach Chop have got the guys that we think are athletes. Sometimes that 5-yard slant needs to turn into a 30-yard run. Sometimes the quarterback got to hit those guys down the field, and you got to win those 50-50 balls more times than you lose them. That's where, to me, this wide receiver group that we spoke about time and time again, got to go be those dudes. You are playing a position that is needy on being having the football in your hand. So when it comes your direction, I don't need I missed it, and the hand claps. I'm done with the hand claps after the play. Like, I know you dropped the ball. Bring it in is what I'm asking. And then some fans may come and be like, Ramon, they can't catch everyone. That's the expectation. If you're trying to take this school to another role, if you're trying to gain the respect and more NIL dollars, this comes with it. Because if not, I say this, I think Tristan Keys does more for the Vols than just committing. You bring eyes to the fact that UT will pay, and you can go there as a big 5-star recruit and make yourself known.
It is one of the biggest questions of the entire season. Can the wide receivers meet the moment, and guys that have not been household names, can they become household names?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Matthews, according to the Rivals industry ranking, the number 6 receiver in the country in the class of 2024, 5-star, number 26 player in America. Braylon Staley, to me, I think, is going to be deployed in the Jalen Hyatt role and has the athleticism to be a Jalen Hyatt type playmaker for Tennessee. I'm not saying he's going to have 5 touchdowns against Alabama. I'm not saying that he's going to be a Biletnikoff Award winner. But on paper, Ramon, he's not just an empty chair.
No.
Braylon Staley was a top 100 player in the country in the class of 2024. He gets overshadowed a lot by Mike Matthews because Mike was a 5-star, and that's understandable. If Braylon Staley is healthy, Ramon, Tennessee gets a level of production from the slot receiver position that they've not had since Jalen Hyatt. Squirrel White burst on the scene as a freshman and was not able to sustain that level of production over his next year and last year in 2024. I think Squirrel White's size was a big limiting factor in his overall ceiling as a player. And quite honestly, he didn't catch the football enough when it was thrown to him.
No.
Braylon Staley, I think, raises the ceiling of this offense as much as anybody else on this football team. And those slot fades, the matchups with safeties. Mike Matthews is going to draw a corner a lot, isn't he? Still. Yeah. Being an outside receiver. Mike Matthews is going to draw a lot of cornerback ones. If they can get Braylon Staley matched up on safeties out of the slot, all of a sudden, I think you're talking about Staley having a chance, Ramon. I'm not saying he's the best receiver in the room. I think there is a world where he can be the most productive receiver in the room.
Yes. Just got a funny text from my good friend Stephen Godfrey.
Oh, did you?
He did, and it's truthful. He said, "Love any good radio show when the offensive lineman's dogging wide receivers."
He just said it to me too.
Yeah, bro. And the reason why is because here we are protecting you. The pocket's right. The quarterback delivers a football to you. I'm breaking my back with this 300-pounder bull rushing me and got his hand underneath my neck, and you drop the football. You can't be over here dividing the locker room, asking everybody, "I'm that guy. I'm him." And then you don't deliver. Like I said, there is an expectation that, look, this guy on the outside edge is running a 4.5.
Sure.
And I got to block him.
Well, the thing with Tennessee, too, is like, I'm not saying Tennessee's going to go 4-8 and have the 2017 season they had under Butch Jones, but it is the first time in this wholesale of a way, Ramon, that Tennessee has had to reload with high school recruits all at once. When Butch Jones did that, going from an 8-4 2016 team, he couldn't. And he went 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tennessee's recruited better and is in a much healthier place as an organization, as a football, quote-unquote, franchise, because these guys getting paid. It's a franchise. So I don't expect that kind of drop-off to happen. I do think there will be some kind of drop-off from last year. But on paper, yes, this team in terms of high school recruits and star ratings and all these things is more talented than it was last year. They just got to go do it.
Right.
That's the theme of the entire season. And there's a lot of variance that comes with how good or how bad a lot of these players could be this year. It's why I have a hard time putting a win record down for Tennessee this year. It's just, it feels like there are a lot of different ways a lot of games could go.
Yeah.
Is the theme of the year, including this one tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. Numero uno?
Your number one key, Ramon, in today's Foster 5 for Tennessee and Syracuse is what?
I want to put Tim Banks in there, but I've already talked about him. We're good on that. We understand my love affair with that defense. It's the Joey show. Show what it could look like. Show what a one-year flash in the pan can look like for a team that's giving you the keys to a Power 4 team. And a redemption for you, too. Do you have the zip on your ball? I believe, to be quite honest with you, he's going to live like Diego did last year. He's going to be able to use his legs, find the open slots. That's one thing I said, and I've said it time and time last year. Savage and I had this conversation a lot.
Savage being Ron Slay.
Ron Slay. I think Joe Milton hurt this offense last year with his inability to run the ball or make the decision to run the football. I think Joey Aguilar brings that component to it. You look at, I got some information as it pertains to like Nico's ability to connect downfield last year. Not there, right? And that's what I'm hoping Joey does bring to this team. And go connecting 5-1. No Nico hangover. Don't say, "Oh, I wish we would have." Joey Aguilar is the number one culprit, I think, going into this weekend besides the defense on the other side of the ball. It's the Joey show.
I'm with you. I'm fascinated to see how much of the offense Joey gets to run tomorrow. Like, doesn't that tell us how confident Josh Heupel is in his quarterback? Mm-hmm. How much he lets him just let it fly?
Yeah, no doubt.
Tomorrow, I think Tennessee could run it. Again, like, Tennessee can literally point behind the right guard and say, "We're running here," and I think still have success running the ball tomorrow. Unless these transfers from Syracuse are way better than we think they are, which always could happen because transfer portal, you just never know. It's playing the lottery with some of these guys. Tennessee last year changed its style of offense because Josh Heupel looked around in fall camp and said, "Oh, my quarterback isn't ready to be this dynamic playmaker yet, but my running back is.
Mm-hmm.
So let's build an offense around the running back and the defense." In hindsight, Ramon, he was kind of giving us the answers to how the season was going to go early in the year.
Really did.
Without running as much tempo, 12 personnel, tight ends. What answers to the test does Josh Heupel give us tomorrow to say, this is what I believe our offense is capable of doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question, because I don't think Tennessee is good enough to hide things for Georgia, to like not go deep enough into the playbook. Like, yeah, I do think they can run the ball against Syracuse and be successful, but I also believe that Josh Heupel wants to learn about what he has in his football team, let it fly a little bit, and see if they can jump in the deep end and swim.
That's what you're looking for. Jump out there. Like Hub said, too, and just to back up what he said, like, don't hold him back, Joey. If he wants to sling it, hey, let him roll. If he wants to roll out of the pocket and get busy with his legs, let him do that. And it's also on those tight ends, running backs, and wide receivers to also be very friendly to him, too. They're the ones that have been here for the most part all this year. Colton Hood's the only other person that's in the same boat right now as Joey Aguilar is, right? Like, these are May enrollees. Everybody else got to be very friendly and very familiar with what Joey Aguilar has going on in the offensive line. I mean, not the offensive line. I'm stuck on them right now. On the offense and their ability to make plays, man. So I don't know what it's going to look like. Not many people do at this point. But if you tell me if you got you a gunslinger back there that's frisky, that's exciting to me, Will.
615-737-1045 is our number. Vandy Chris on YouTube says, Pavia takes care of the ball. Aguilar doesn't. Stop comparing them.
I'm actually trying to give y'all a compliment with the quarterback that you have, Vandy Chris. Like, every time I mention him, ain't a hateful situation right there. Can we? And I know you're joking and having a good time in the chat, but I'm actually complimenting the hell out of like Diego Pavia, just so you know.
Joey Aguilar is also the active leader in passing yards. So in that way, he's better than Pavia too. So we can play that game on both sides. They're different players, but in the point you're making, the way Tennessee schemes around their quarterback can be similar to the way Vanderbilt schemed around Diego Pavia's strengths.
Exactly. Everybody ain't dissing y'all every time.
Yeah, it can't be that sensitive. Coming up next, Rick Barnes got a lifetime contract from Tennessee. What it means next. Ramona Will on 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Tate Matthews going to join us talking high school football week 2 in 10 minutes. Ramon Foster, I know you're excited for this.
I am.
It's your first visit with Tate. You weren't here last week.
I listen to Tate all the time. That's the thing. So I feel like I hear these guys. Like I talked to Doug Matthews. I listened to Doug Matthews numerous times before I actually shook his hand and met him. And I was out here acting like a fan. I can't imagine how I'm acting Tate get on here, man.
I love it. Absolutely love it. We'll talk about some of the biggest high school football matchups in the area tonight. And Keith Bullock going to join us at 9:20.
Big bully.
Looking forward to that.
I was glad Zach cleared up, too, also, when he said bully. I was like, he was like, you ain't handsome. I was hoping he was going to say it was that one and not the trash.
Zach and Hendersonville at 7 a.m. this morning. Yeah,
Big Zach is what we call him now on Fridays.
If you missed Zach and Hendersonville's weekly Vols poem, you can go back and find that in hour 2 of this morning's podcast. Rick Barnes got a lifetime contract, Ramon, from Tennessee.
Easy work right there.
No-brainer for all parties. He was signed through the 2028 season, was making $5.9 million during the current contract year. He was paid $5.8 last year and got a little over $1 million in bonus money after taking Tennessee to the Elite Eight for a second straight time and third time in program history. Rick Barnes is not going to coach anywhere else. This is a no-brainer to just reward him for the best era in recent history for Tennessee basketball. And for the people who will say, oh, well, no Final Four, all these things, whatever. Tennessee over the last 8 seasons leads the SEC in wins, win percentage, tied for first in overall wins and second in overall winning percentage. There's a luck of the draw element to winning in March. And as good as they've been, as well as they've recruited, Ramon, if they just keep on doing it, they're going to break through and get a Final Four.
You're seeing Tennessee do stuff. What was it? What did I read there? It may have been Danny White that said that he's turned Tennessee basketball into a blue blood.
He's left it a lot better than he found it whenever he does leave.
The sustainability of understanding, you can go potentially from Coach Barnes to somebody else after the fact, and the fact that Tennessee now has eyes on the basketball program to where you're seriously taken in the recruiting world, right? Like you can go get a Native Met. You can go get international players. Your expectation for playing postseason basketball is huge when March Madness hits. Like, and Rick Barnes has established that. Like, when it's good, leave it alone. And I'm glad AD Danny White understands that too, and everybody that's involved in giving him this pay increase and stability too. And they also were able to pour into his wants, if it was his, and I think it was his, into the NIL market to close out on some of these prospects, man, and the transfer portal.
VolQuested on 3 saying Danny White had let Rick Barnes know he could stay on as long as he had the drive to continue doing the job. And this is a PR way to just say, you're going to retire as the Tennessee head coach whenever you decide to retire. Danny White's really good at marketing these things in a way that kind of spikes the football for the success that Tennessee athletics is having. Yeah. And honestly, procedurally, Ramon, it doesn't really do much. It just means that every year, a year gets tacked on to Rick's contract, and he has a rolling 3-year contract every year in April. And that's really it. Oh. So not a major change. I think there is some really good buzz around that program. I think Jacoby Gillespie, the former Belmont point guard who just transferred in from Maryland, is getting a ton of really positive reviews on the impact he could have on that team this year. And for Rick, he has made Tennessee, along with Auburn and Alabama, the class of the Southeastern Conference in basketball over the last 5-6 years, and he deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
He is a Tennessee legend, and I'll tell you what, there is no better human in college athletics off the field of play than Rick Barnes. The guy is exactly what you think he is. He is as good as it gets.
Man, I know somebody that's a big-time Alabama fan. He's got a kid that's a high recruit. The kid is a big Alabama fan, and I was just like, you look good in orange. And he's like, I'll be honest with you, I think so. But that's what Rick Barnes has done. And also his proof of concept of putting dudes into the league. That goes, you know what I'm saying? That goes a long way, man. Even if it ain't the NBA like Zakai. If I'm not mistaken, he's playing in a good league overseas right now, so it will be. He prepares those dudes, and I absolutely love it.
Coming up next, Tate Matthews joins us, our high school football expert on 104.5 The Zone, previewing week 2. Some huge out-of-region games to tell you about. when we come back. Hour 4 of Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, is next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. Well, man, whether you got old, drafty windows or some cheap builder-grade windows, which they'll do from time to time, now's the best time to replace your windows. Protect your home ahead of the fall and winter weather, or you can get replacement windows from Window Nation. Window Nation knows replacing windows is an investment, and they want to make sure it's affordable for you, and Will got the best deal to tell you about.
Yeah, they know that it is an investment. That's why this month you can get 50% off all window styles. You can also put zero down, make zero payments, and pay zero interest for 2 years. You can pay nothing until 2027. Now, we love Window Nation because of their A-plus rating for the Better Business Bureau, because of the 96% customer satisfaction rating, and your new windows can be installed in 1 day or less. 866-90-NATION is the number to call. You can schedule a fast free estimate now with Window Nation online at windownation.com. That's Window Nation online at windownation.com. All right, I'm going to get through this with my stomach growling a little bit, but you have heard me all week talk about my new obsession for the tailgate coming up tomorrow, Daisy French onion dip, and I'm here to tell you, football season, that tailgate plan, if you don't have it by now, you're a little bit behind. You need to add Daisy French onion dip to your menu for the football this weekend. We're in the middle of 5 straight days of college football. You got to try this stuff. It's my guilty pleasure. It's chips, it's wings, it's veggies, it's Daisy French onion dip and Daisy ranch dip. These are a game changer. They're as delicious as a homemade dip. You bring it to the party, you bring it to the tailgate, put it in that nondescript container, and people are going to be asking you how you made this incredible homemade dip. You can just take the credit. Or you can let them know, hey, it's at a grocery store near you. As delicious as a homemade dip with real herbs and spices, other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen, give Daisy French onion dip a try. That's Daisy French onion dip. Look for it at a grocery store near you.
It is 9 a.m. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Yesterday, a blockbuster trade went down in the NFL as the Dallas Cowboys are trading all-pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Parsons and the Packers then agreed upon a 4-year, $188 million extension that includes $136 million guaranteed. At $47 million per year, Parsons now becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Per NFL Insider Tom Pelissero this morning, the trade was agreed upon 3 days ago, but the contract details still need to be ironed out. And tomorrow, a new era in Tennessee football begins as Mike Keith and Ramon Foster have their first broadcast on Vol Network as the Tennessee Volunteers take on the Syracuse Orange at 11 a.m. in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You can hear the broadcast right here on 104.5 The Zone starting right around 8:30. Also, the Vanderbilt Commodores and quarterback Diego Pavia kick off their season tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central on SEC Network as they take on Charleston Southern at First Bank Stadium here in Nashville. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour on your Friday morning, a Tennessee football game day. Tomorrow, NFL is now less than a week away, and high school football week 2 on this Friday night. Alongside Ramon Foster, I am Will Bowling. We are fueled, as always, by Scooter's Coffee, and we are joined this morning by our high school football expert on 104.5 The Zone, Tate Matthews, presented by Freedom Boat Club. Week 2, Tate, what's going on? Good morning.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, Ramon. Beautiful Friday morning out there. College football's back. We got week 2 of high school football. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Very exciting. I also have to say real quick, Tate, that you've got a lot of diehard listeners and people that love your show and Coach's show and Big Orange Sunday and Football Saturday with Doug Matthews. Ramon Foster might be the Matthews family's biggest fans. Like, you're talking to a diehard listener here.
Easily. Do you hear me? I just need you to know you're up there with Martin McGee with me on Saturday and Sunday mornings. You got me, man. Like, I've heard your voice and seen of like pictures of your face, but haven't met you yet. If you do see me, just know, like, protect yourself. That's all I'm saying.
In a good way,
bro. Hey man, you made my day. I don't want to. I'm not as camera friendly as you two, so I don't want to be on Zoom. But if you can see my face right now, big smile, Ramon. You made my weekend, brother. That's awesome.
I seriously
Hey, Will,
enjoy
I got to tell you something before we get into these games.
Hit me.
Though. Labor Day weekend, beautiful weather out there. If you're not a member of the Freedom Boat Club of Tennessee, man, I feel sorry for you because this is the perfect weekend for them. And did this about 3 years ago. Their slogan is boating made simple, and that's exactly what they do. They've got 12 top-tier locations across the state of Tennessee. They've got Percy Priest, Old Hickory, Timms Ford, and Center Hill Lake right here in the mid-state. It's unbelievable. It's the best thing my family's done in 3 years. How does it work? Well, you have a one-time entry fee, and then you have monthly dues. You reserve your boat. It could be a tri-tune boat. Ramon kind of strikes me as a tri-tune boat guy, kind of guy. Then there's a runabout so you can get the sea rays, and then also the surf boats, and it's unbelievable. You show up. It's there waiting on you. You take it out, you bring it back, they bill your credit card for gas. It's a no-brainer. It's unbelievable. I've even had one time, I take out a tri-tune boat in the afternoon for the older folk, and then we take the surf boat out in the afternoon for the younger folk that want to surf. Where else can you do that? It's real easy. All you got to go to is Freedom Boat Club of Tennessee, and it's freedomboatclubtn.com, or you can just go to Freedom Boat Club. Get in touch with my friends, Mariah, David, and Angie. It's a no-brainer. They're running specials right now. Get to freedomboatclub.com and get joined up today.
I love it. Tate Matthews, the headliner of the weekend, a really good week 2 in Middle Tennessee high school football. Page, the Patriots, trying to get back to Chattanooga again this year, have a gauntlet of a schedule that includes Green Hill tonight, who was victorious over Beach in week 1. Big-time matchup between these two contenders.
Yeah, I think it's probably the game of the week in the mid-state. Not that there's not some other great ones, but I think it's probably the game that's got the two best teams. And Page, as we all know, 4-time in a row. They're the Buffalo Bills of Tennessee high school football, right? 4-time runner-up in 5A. They had a nice win last week, 47-34 over Giles County, and then Green Hill, I think, was kind of the story of week one, 38-21 victory over Beach. It was really a bigger win than that. Some of those were once they started subbing some of Beach's points, but two really high-powered offenses going at it tonight, and two really good quarterbacks. Y'all got a glimpse of Cannon Burrows, the Mr. Football semifinalist from last year from Green Hill on TV because they were the Thursday night game, and he played really, really well. 187 passing yards and a touchdown, 60 rushing yards and a touchdown, and really kind of shut it down in the fourth quarter. And then Page has Cameron Cruz, their first-year starter at quarterback, really good quarterback. They had a quarterback battle going into week one between Cameron Cruz and Drew Rimple. Cameron Cruz is QB1 now, but Drew Rimple, they're going to move him around tonight. They'll play him at running back. They'll play him at wide receiver. They might play him at wildcat quarterback. They want to get the ball in his hands. And, Ramon, get your best 11 on the field, right? No, it doesn't do you any good for Drew Rimple to be standing on the sideline. So you'll see a lot of them. I think really this game will come down to the running game, though, for Green Hill, because Page is trying to get healthy, right? They get their best defensive lineman back in Jacob Rathbone, who's also probably their best offensive lineman as well, the Central Arkansas commit. But Jake will come back at defensive tackle tonight. That'll really help with the running game. Everybody knows about the two outside linebackers that graduated in Eric Hazard and Brennan Ains. Ains is at UT, Hazard's at Louisville. Well, they had to replace those guys, right? Two sophomores replacing those two guys. They're going to be good players, but kind of hard to fill those shoes with sophomores. So I think it'll come down to the running game. Zach Cartwright and the all-senior offensive line for Green Hill. They're going to go a long way to seeing how this game comes out.
Man, Tate, next game, man, up another big one, man. I call it the name game. It's Ainsworth versus Nashville Christian, man, with Taylor Hasselback, the Wyoming commit, and also Jared Curtis, the Georgia 5-star commit, man. How do you see this as Nashville Christian is playing up on this one?
Yeah, I think that isn't this a cool story? I mean, y'all are younger, but you've been around long enough to all you all know is the private school. When I was around, there was no D2, right? But D2 1A versus D2 AAA. I don't remember this happening. If it has, not two programs like this that have a lot to play for. So I think it's very cool. It's going to be at Nashville Christian School. Very, very short bus ride for Ainsworth. They could almost walk to it. A lot of people think it's a risky game for Coach Tim Hasselback, but I think it's a cool game. And I think it's kind of risky for Coach Brothers as well, right? Everybody's got them picked to win D2 single A. A game like this, you could get some injuries. So I much respect to both coaches for doing it. They're so close. There's no reason not to play it. But you're right. You got Taylor Hasselback, the Wyoming commit. You got Jared Curtis, the Georgia commit. TJ Ward, the TCU commit. Justin Hopkins, the Minnesota commit. So a lot of big-time commits, but and Ramon, I think you'll agree with this. With Ainsworth being a larger school, a bigger, I really think this game comes down to the fronts, the offensive and defensive fronts. Can Nashville Christian Schools fronts on both sides hold up to Ainsworth? That Davidson Academy is a nice program. They haven't seen a defense like they're going to see tonight in Ainsworth.
No doubt. Also, this upcoming weekend, Antioch versus East Nashville, man. How you see this playing out? There's always talent on these two squads.
Oh, they're both loaded, and I love it. Coach Arcente Broom and then Coach Damian Harris, they get along. Yeah. But I'm not so sure that these two programs get along. There's a lot of bad blood's not the right
animosity.
Word, but Yes. These two, when you get these two on the field, there's going to be some chirping, and it's going to be physical and it's going to be intense. So East Nashville has been kind of the cream of the crop in 3A in the mid-state. Obviously, there's that hurdle the past few years called Alcoa out of East Tennessee, but East Nashville has been the cream of the crop, and now they're moving down to 2A, but hard to schedule non-region games. Antioch, I think, not the game of the week, but probably the surprise of the week last week, beating Mount Juliet 24-2. Their defense is really, really good. And then, You talk about all the great quarterbacks. Think about all the great quarterbacks we've talked about already just in this segment. Andre Adams, the junior, he's probably the most athletic quarterback in the mid-state. He had over 470 total yards alone by himself last week against Mount Juliet. So it's going to be really fun. A lot of high-powered athletes in this one. But what I think is fun about it is both Coach Broom and Coach Harris, they really like to run the ball. So the more physical team will win. I think Antioch, being a little bit bigger school, might have a little bit more depth. So I think it's a game you'd really like, Ramon.
Oh, no doubt.
Tate, one more for you. The Battle of Granny White, which is kind of a new rivalry, wasn't played when I was growing up. Brentwood Academy going about a mile down the road, down Granny White Pike, to take on Brentwood High School. The Oregon commit, Keyshawn Bowman at receiver for BA. Cruz Jenkins, the new quarterback. But Clint Finch is one of the best offensive minds in Middle Tennessee high school football for the Brentwood Bruins. Kind of a rivalry. A lot of kids, Tate, as you know, who grew up playing Brentwood Blaze football together and might be in the same youth groups together around Williamson County. Kind of a different kind of rivalry, isn't it?
They all eat at the same Blaze Pizza and Suki,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, and it'll give us a chance to give a nod to Mr. Parker, James Parker, who started Brentwood High School. He was the first principal. He passed away this year. What a Hall of Fame man. What a Hall of Fame administrator. He never missed a game, right?
Right.
Will. But anyways, Mr. Parker didn't really like Brentwood Academy, and he dang sure didn't like Coach Flatt, but that's okay. Both great men. So he never would let them play. That's why you never saw this game played before. But, before they started playing it about a decade ago. So it's a game that ought to happen every year. Coach Wade, Paul Wade, in his second year as the head coach is Brentwood Academy. They've really reloaded. You just mentioned Keyshawn Bowman and the Cruz Jenkins, but Lex Baskin took the opening kickoff back for 96, 97 yards last week against Lawson. But, don't let the firepower fool you. When you're talking about a Paul Wade coach football team, they're going to line up, they're going to run the ball at you, and they're going to see if you can stop it. Larry Sanders had 3 touchdowns last week. I'd expect to see another heavy dose of them again this week. This Brentwood High team is kind of rebuilding. First time in a while they've had to rebuild. They're rebuilding. They're going to show up and play hard, but I think the firepower side definitely lies on the Brentwood Academy side.
Looking forward to it. That is high school football week 2. Tate Matthews joins us Fridays at 9 a.m. during the season to preview it all. It feels a little weird not being in a game tonight, but that's all right. We're still getting used to it. Tate, appreciate the time.
Thanks,
as always.
Tate.
Great to talk to you. We'll do it again next week.
All right, fellas. Y'all have a great weekend. Go Big Orange. We'll see you next Friday.
Absolutely. Thanks.
There he is, Tate Matthews, who recaps all that tomorrow morning on The Zone, of course, before all the UT coverage begins as well.
Man, I wish I had somebody covering my little small town like this when I was coming up. All I wanted was to hear my name somewhere. Man, golly, it's cool hearing this for these young men.
As big as the NFL and college football stuff we'll get on this show this fall, we will give that time to high school football for a couple minutes every Friday.
Mm-hmm. I can't get used to the Thursday night games for high schools yet, though.
Really?
But it's necessary.
Everybody's got to play one.
I know.
Because of official shortages. That's why.
Time for you to go become an official, Will.
Not me.
All these couch coaches need to go become one then.
Listen,
man.
my fuse is too short for some of the parents that officials have to deal with.
And there we go.
You guys are doing the Lord's work. Truly. Coming up, Keith Bullock joins us next. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee, a loaded Friday morning. We are efforting Keith Bullock, who we are going to get on here in just a moment. Appreciate Tate Matthews, Brent Hubbs joining us today. If you miss any of these conversations, if you are driving to a football game, whether that is in Atlanta, whether that is a Friday night light or two that you may see in your mirror tonight, you can download the Ramona Will podcast. Take us wherever you go. We'll help get you to your destination a little bit quicker. We won't distract you too much, but just enough.
Yeah.
To get you over Monte Eagle, maybe, if you're caravanning down to Atlanta.
Yeah, Monte Eagle, when you get down that hill, boy, I used to hate the hill. I absolutely just like, this is the dumbest just geographical setup in the history of roads.
I don't like it as much coming back from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 lanes coming back down. It's 3 lanes going down on the way there.
Yeah.
It's the way back that I don't like.
I deal with the way back better than going, because, like, what you get going down that hill is this, man. You have them 18-wheeler, shout out to our big truck drivers, by the way, too. But they'll just let go and just roll. Or you have the idiots in the smaller trucks or vehicles that just act like this is Mario Brothers. Like, Mario Karts. Like, what are y'all doing? Do you not care about life?
I don't know why, but I don't mind that drive.
You don't
Going to
mind
Atlanta?
that drive? Only part I hate is the traffic.
Yeah, the Chattanooga traffic is the worst part.
Yeah.
Once you get into Georgia and you get the extra lane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we rolling.
Chilling.
I'm treating myself like a Georgia Bulldog football
100%.
player.
All right, maybe not. Maybe not that far.
Yeah, you know I could. I could not bring that up. I'm gonna be honest with you, the way that road is. What is it? 6 lanes? Like the way it is set up. Like if you have no control, I do understand how you can speed insanely fast on Georgia State roads, man. I do get it.
One of my best friends who lives in Atlanta now, who I've mentioned on this show quite a bit, my old roommate, has the saying, driving in Atlanta traffic, saying the motto is kill or be killed. Like, no, if you're waiting on somebody to get out of your way to get over, then somebody else is going to get in your way again and just slide in there. You just got to get over and just send it.
Just got to roll, man. Or stay over on the right 2 lanes. That's where you can live at. Absolutely, man.
That is absolutely right. So, still working on Keith Bullock. Busy man.
Come on, Bully.
Hoping to get him on here in just a minute. Talking about Tennessee and Syracuse tomorrow afternoon from Atlanta. What is the football game, Ramon, that you are most excited for this weekend besides Tennessee and Syracuse?
Texas, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Easily. Texas, Ohio State. And I think the what is the Catholics versus convicts is going to be fascinating. And another one you've brought up to me that I wasn't. It's the documentary.
I know. I mean, it's what it's called. It's just it's a funny name.
It is. But I do want to see that Marcus Freeman he back this up again and stay consistent and rebuilding this. The more Marcus Freeman wins, the worse the legend of Brian Kelly looks to me, though, too. And that is that part.
That, to me, is the most interesting game of the weekend.
Yeah.
LSU and Clemson is a narrative game.
It is.
Somebody is... what's the word? Washed.
Mm.
And then somebody is a maybe national title contender out of that game. Like, those are the overreactions we're going to be cooking up on Monday.
Yeah.
Because Clemson can wave the flag of, like, this is what we told you.
Yeah.
We don't need to go heavy in the portal. We're going to develop our guys. We're going to get our dudes out of high school, sprinkle in some portal, and be a contender again. And if LSU wins that game, Brian Kelly could say, see, look what I can do with NIL War Chest. See, I can finally win a week 1 game. Now that I've got the full backing of everyone around this program, I've got it going on here now that we're going to take that step up at a contender level. I tend to believe more in the Clemson side of that than the LSU side.
No doubt about it. But, man, Duck Fallen just got my attention. It's like, y'all let me know when you're down here. We hit up a local wing spot. Tell me where to go, like E40 then, okay? But he sidetracked my thought when he brought that up. But what I also wanted to say, too, is I can admit when I'm wrong. Looking at Dabo, I was like, man, he got to jump in this portal war. He's got to do this. And he said, no, let me create a foundation. The same way as he is spiritual, right, spiritually, he's getting a foundation built upon a rock. And that, to me, I think – It more coaches will, I think, elect to do that. It's going to be something to go shopping. Lane got to go shopping. We just took Tristan Keys from Mississippi. I don't know what Mississippi Ole Miss is going to do to be able to bring their school to keep their 5-star guys in state, but he's always going to have to go shopping. Other teams and schools, I think, will have to adapt this role of, look, I got to pour into my young guys that I recruit and the parents that I will look them in their eyes and say, I'm going to treat your kid like my kid. And it looks to be, Will, to your point, if he goes out and beat LSU, it's correct. Another quick one, too, because they're always in the headlines and they always play the primetime game this upcoming weekend, too, and I just saw it. It's the Colorado-Georgia Tech. Tonight.
Uh-huh.
I got my eyes peeled back on that one, too. It's minus Shador. It's Dion minus his sons, minus Travis. And I think high of Georgia Tech in general, too. Haynes King, big fan. I was hoping we could have stole him. I'm going to be real with you from Georgia Tech. But I do want to see if the legend can continue. The conversation stay the same coming out of Colorado.
The Caden Salter era begins.
That is Caden Salter.
Mm-hmm.
Sure in the heck is.
Former Tennessee quarterback at Colorado. Beat out Julian Lewis for the starting job.
Sure did. And Julian was a former 5-star coming out.
Yep. True freshman. But
true freshman. Yeah. He stole him from Southern Cal.
Yep. Sure did.
Colorado always have to be a portal team, too. I feel
they will.
Yeah.
They will.
Dion,
100%.
Even though I think Boo Carter's going there next year.
Yeah, well.
It was funny, though.
We'll ask Austin and Brent about that all winter. We'll have plenty of time for that.
There's competition in that one, though, too, because looking at some of the conversation that Fran Brown has had, he specifically pointed out Boo Carter in one of his interviews. Was like, I got my eye on Boo Carter. I was like, just say you're recruiting him already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I do think Fran Brown is he's competition to Dion in that world of recruiting guys out of the portal.
If you want a good breakdown of the Tristan Keys commitment for Tennessee football, we had one earlier this morning at 7:20 with Brent Hubbs. You can get that wherever you download podcasts, coming up here in a half hour. For you, Ramon, the 5-star, top 10 player in the country, number 1 receiver in America, finally does what we've been waiting on for quite some time. Flips from LSU to Tennessee yesterday. How significant of a move is that for Josh Heupel in Tennessee?
It's big. One, you stacking talent, too. Mike Matthews, if he goes out and have a really good year this year, he can go to the league after next year. And you got a guy in place that can already have it be the position to be number 1 after he's done. It's what the Ohio States do, right? They continue to stack guys and make themselves relevant by going to get those high-caliber guys. This is what Bama is known for. Texas is doing currently. Like, that's what this does for Josh Heupel. For whether it be because of the money, as Deion Sanders' song used to sing, or he has, or it's the relationship that Josh Heupel and his staff. Kelsey Pope, I remember when he first got that wide receiver job, took criticism from people that challenged him as a recruiter. And for him to be able to close that for him, for as young as Kelsey Pope is, and as relatable as we're seeing that he be too, I love this for the Vols. One, because it's a UT thing, but you never want to have to go over and beyond to get guys to come to you. We're talking about a blue blood in LSU, a 2019 national championship team with a coach that's established, that has checked every box that you want except the big game himself.
The best producer of NFL wide receivers in college football over the last decade.
The boot, and you go grab him. Mm-hmm. I thought that was big, Will. I see our guy Paul put in a significant. Yes. It just validates you even more so to where you're not just a cupcake squad or this gimmicky offense conversation comes up from Joel Klatt from time to time. Yeah, I'm a little hot still.
Kelsey Pope's 2026 Tennessee receiver commitments now include Tristan Keys, the number 1 receiver in the country, ranked number 7 overall by the Rivals industry rankings. Celesi Moa, the second best ranked athlete in high school football this year, the number 46 player in the country. Tyreek King out of Knoxville, who is someone you talk to recruiting people, Ramon, is going to continue to rise up the leaderboard. Austin Price has told us all summer he believes that Tyreek King is going to explode, and not word for word quoting him on that, but essentially that Tyreek King's stock is going to continue rising. Number 16 receiver in the country, number 128 overall. And then Legend Bay. You get out of Texas.
Yep.
Away from Texas schools and Texas A&M, who felt like they had him. Number 11 athlete in the country, number 362 in the Rivals industry ranking. That is the next step that Tennessee is going to have to take the next step as a program, which is enter the Georgia, Ohio State realm of playing football remote.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Those teams have been able to go one-on-one with Tennessee on the perimeter, load the box, take away the run game, and say, our guy against yours will bet on ours on the perimeter. The system can only do so much. The system makes up a talent gap against these blue-chip heavy teams, but it can't win you games consistently against the Georgias and Ohio States of the world. They can say, I got Davis Igbinosun. I've got Caleb Downs. I've got Malachi Starks. I've got X, Y, or Z, and insert NFL defensive back name here. I'm good. Well, you start getting Tristan Keys. You start getting Travis Smiths. You start getting Mike Matthewses, and all of a sudden now, they've got to get a little bit more safety help on the back end, and all of a sudden the box is lighter and you can run a little bit more. Because now you're playing 5-on-5 or 6-on-6 in the run game, or even, 6-on-5, where you feel like you have a numbers advantage blocking the run. That is what Tristan Keys brings you that Tennessee hasn't had yet under Josh Heupel. Tennessee has the Biletnikoff winner in Jalen Hyatt. Tennessee has had an NFL draft pick in Cedric Tillman and would have had one in Brew McCoy as well if he hadn't gotten hurt. But only one of those guys was really a blue chip talent, and that was Brew McCoy.
Yeah.
What does Josh Heupel's offense look like with blue chip talent pass catchers? We don't have the answer to that yet, and we're about to get it.
And that was part of so I did 3HL yesterday. Shout out to Stoney Keeley, man, and Mayor yesterday.
Doing
man.
a great job on Titans Talk Back,
Absolutely. Too. They asked that question. It was the Joel Klatt conversation that came up, and he's speaking about this offense, does it prepare you or not prepare you for the NFL? And my answer was this, like, you look at the guys that Coach Heupel's brought in and had to bring up, like, Stoney was asking me about the offensive line. I say, you look at Cooper Mays, and I think injuries is what nipped him. I think Spraggins, I don't know how high his ceiling was or how low his floor was with his,
correct,
his ability. The right tackle last year, Big Larry.
John Campbell.
John Campbell also. I don't know what his pedigree was, too. He finally decided to get himself together.
He couldn't finish a full game healthy last year.
So, like, you look at it and you say, well, this ain't that, but now you look at Lance Hurd, right? This guy's a first 3 rounds type of guy, the way I'm viewing him right now. You got Sim Pendleton from Ohio State. And what I'm getting at is this. I think Wendell Moy turns himself into a higher draft pick depending on how the season and health goes for him too. But you look at the guys that he has put in the league and you say to yourself, like, I don't know what Hendon Hooker was at Virginia Tech, right, before he came over. With the torn ACL, Coach Heupel in this gimmicky offense turned him to a 3rd-round draft pick. I think it would have been higher had he not had the injury. Joe Milton, we knew if we watched this, right, what his limitations were. We knew that. And he still get drafted. And then on top of that, create more value for himself by getting traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Like, Hyatt's ability to make himself into a better pro with the Giants, I do think the reshaping of his body is going to help him a whole lot more. Stability of the front office and quarterback play makes him a whole lot better. Cedric Tillman has made plays for the Cleveland Browns. These guys are there, and I'm looking at Dylan Sampson right now because of the misfortunes of the running back that was drafted ahead of him. Is probably going to get some burn behind that team. Behind that offensive line. The pieces are in place for these guys. And also, I would again throw this out there. The raising of the floor, as you just said, of players that he's recruiting, I think matters. I'm looking at this top 25 list of Rivals team rankings. USC has they're number 1 right now, but they got 32 commits under their belt. Tennessee is number 9 with 24. The number that I'm looking at right now is their recruiting score. Tennessee's in the 90s right now. The more 4 and 5 stars you get, the high caliber players, the expectations of your wins is a little bit different. You shrink that window between the Ohio State's, Bama's, A&M's, and USC's or Notre Dame's. That's what you're looking for in this recruiting. I think Heupel's doing a good job on being selective and getting those guys.
Well, and 2, we talked about the blue chip ratio a few weeks ago.
Absolutely.
The blue chip ratio means that your ratio of blue chip 4 and 5 star recruits to 3-star and below recruits needs to be over 50% in order to win the national championship. Every national champion since 2011 has had a blue chip ratio over 50%. Tennessee, for the first time ever under Josh Heupel this year, is over 50%. On paper, this is the most talented roster that Tennessee has had. experience-wise, it is far from the most experienced roster Tennessee has had. With that, you get variance. You get a ceiling that could be 10 wins. You get a floor that could be 5 wins. I legitimately believe it is that wide of how good or bad. Tennessee could lose tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a gimme game by any stretch of the imagination with what Fran Brown has at Syracuse. Now, I'd be very surprised if they lost tomorrow, but I'm not going to rule out much simply based on the youth and inexperience of this team. But the thing about the system, and we spoke about this the other day, not enough blue blood programs have run Josh Heupel's system for us to prove or disprove the idea that it's a deal breaker and total prohibiting factor of success in the NFL. That's the thing. College systems like Josh Heupel's have put 3- and 4-star players in the NFL based on incredible amounts of college production. Are there challenges to running NFL systems because of the way the wide splits and half field reads allow this offense to be successful? Absolutely. That makes it hard for you as a quarterback and receiver to transition. I totally agree and get that. But if you're a 5-star player, if you're a blue chip football player, if you're more athletic than the guys around you, I don't think it matters.
Right.
I really don't. And I think Josh Heupel has put a bunch of guys in the league who, with all due respect, weren't blue chip talents, but were good college football players who maximized their levels of college production because of a college-specific system. That doesn't mean that Tristan Keys and Mike Matthews can't be really good NFL receivers just because they played at Tennessee. Right. Just because Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt haven't hit the mark as high as people thought they would. I think there's more context around that conversation than what people nationally give to it.
I love, one of my favorite movies, man, is Pulp Fiction. Because this is essentially what it is, man. It's the known knowns and then it's the known unknowns. Like, that's what we're getting in these type of situations.
100%.
And, so does the same criticism come for Dabo Swinney for having DJU Uiagalelei as a 5-star and not be able to make anything out of him? Also, if I'm not mistaken, it was Heupel that recruited James Pierce also.
Oh, yeah.
That's under him.
We'll let Jael do his own thing, trying to troll. But yes, no. But to your point, though, like, Dabo Swinney doesn't get knocked as much for DJ Uiagalelei because he had Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson.
Right. Well,
like, Josh Heupel doesn't have that, is the point to what these people will make.
What happens with Carson Beck and George and Kirby Smart? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that part of it, too. Like, I get what people are saying. Like, there are numerous pro-style offenses that have high-ranked recruiting players, and they don't get anything out of those guys, too. So what do we call those offenses? Do we just blame the player, or do we not also blame the coach, too, for not getting the most out of a 5-star?
Right.
It's just a fascinating conversation because this is just much different. What I do know is this. Decisions have to be made at the quarterback position that Josh Heupel is asking his guys to make or adjust to.
Yep.
And I think that translates over still to the NFL world. It's a matter of the pedigree of guys that you're also looking at.
Agreed. It only takes one. I mean, until C.J. Stroud, we were talking about how Ohio State quarterbacks never pan out in the NFL. And then C.J. Stroud did what he did. Yeah, Alabama, same thing. Tua, okay, he's got a second contract, but Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama has not had a who's who of high-level quarterbacks, and don't tell me Jalen Hurts is a Bama quarterback. Jalen Hurts is an Oklahoma quarterback.
Penn State? Right?
Penn State quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, recently, like
Michigan?
Sean Clifford, Trace McSorley. It's case by case on who's good at football.
Yeah.
The system is not a total indicator of NFL success. Like, are you good at throwing a football far down the field? And have you played a lot of football? That's the other thing. If you've got on-the-job experience, I think coaches can work with that, because processing whether or not my receiver on the boundary is going to run a post, a comeback, or a go based on cover 2, cover 3, or man that he's playing against is a quick decision that you have to make. If you have that quick processing ability, you can process NFL concepts as well. You just have to be able to learn them and apply on-the-job training to the next level. Now, the answers to the test change, but if you prove that you can study and learn how to take a test and ace it, then NFL coaches can work with that. You just got to be able to make the throws and understand how to learn and how to study as a quarterback. Well, Ron Slay says in the F&A Bank chat this morning, he's joined us from his island vacation, says, say it ain't so. Bullies showing what the Orange Men are going to do in Atlanta. They're going to ghost the Vols. Keith Bullock's a busy man. We wish we could have gotten him, but
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm sure something came up. All good.
All good.
All right. We'll wrap up the show. Final thoughts. Headed into the college football weekend next. Friday morning, wrapping up the show as we get you on your way into your football weekend and a fun day coming up for 104.5 The Zone. We'll tell you more about coming up in just a moment. Ramon, good luck tomorrow, man. I'm so excited to hear you and Mikey.
Thank you, man.
It's going to be so much fun. You have prepared so much for this, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know and anything our listeners don't already know, but you guys are going to crush it.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely crush it. I cannot wait to listen and hear the highlights.
I'm getting my mind set on the situation. I keep going back to the scenario when Mike Keefe called me and presented this to me, and I was like, me? And he was just like, Ramon, you're ready for this. And I was
You
just
absolutely are.
All right, Mike.
No doubt about it.
I guess he said I can go and take on 300-pound men, but here I am, nervous about a microphone.
No, you did the hard part. Now you're you're just chilling.
Chilling.
You're just hanging out watching football with the rest of us. You just get to talk about it into a microphone.
I appreciate all y'all and the support. It's been really cool. I'm going to be real with you, man. I'm going to do the same thing to you next week when it's your go time for sure. But it's football time in Tennessee, man.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I can't wait, man.
I won't just be watching movies on my flight down now. I still got to finish up a couple more notes on little tidbits that I got to take care of. Well, that I don't have to take care of, that I want to take care of, though. Do I bring a Tennessee cup to the press box tomorrow? Like, what do I do? No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Got your volunteer traditions gear. You got your
locked in
orange drinkware. You're good to go.
Yeah, I'm locked in. I'm ready to roll.
Real quick shout out just for a moment, if I may. Nashville SC tomorrow night taking on Atlanta United. Big rivalry match. 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 the kick. Lucas Banzica, Eddie Carvacho will have the call. Nashville SC tomorrow night can officially end Atlanta United's season. With 6 games to go in the regular season, they can knock Atlanta United out of playoff contention, which, for a rivalry game, sign me up for that.
And that's here in the city.
Geo's Park.
We're occupying their stadium.
Hey, look, you watch football early. Look, we all have smartphones at this point. Most of us have blue texts. Some of us have green. But either way, you can stream a game on your phone, go to watch some soccer, get some food. The concession food at Geo's Park, the best in Nashville.
I got to give it to them.
And the drinks, fantastic. Just go hang out. Watch some soccer, cheer for the boys in gold, and have college football on the phone.
And shout out to Nashville SC, too, for giving me my shirt / jersey,
looks good,
too.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm wearing it next week
Nashville
sometime.
nostalgia kit. I love it.
Yes.
Atlanta United has had a very disappointing season. Nashville right up there at the top of the Supporter Shield race for regular season top point getters. So looking forward to that.
And if you show up to Atlanta tomorrow, something like Atlanta, also tomorrow, Chick-fil-A will be open because it's not a Sunday.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, get you some.
That's right.
Get you some.
It's absolutely right. Not a Sunday. So, Saturday you get a Chick-fil-A sandwich in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'm excited, man.
Me too.
There was an energy just getting out of bed this morning. I forget how much just happier I am as a human during football season. I mean, honestly.
Straight up.
Honestly. Little inconveniences in the day. That's all right. There's football on. Like, we're in the middle of 5 straight days of college football. Tonight, you got Colorado, Georgia Tech, and you got Baylor, Auburn. Baylor, Auburn, there's no world where that game goes normally. Yeah. There is no world where Baylor, Auburn isn't just passed out drunk on a Friday night in Waco, Texas. I'm serious. There is no world where that game is just a normal college football game.
Yeah, they get into it well.
Those teams don't play normal college football games. And I saw Josh Pate this morning. Josh Pate's college football show tweeted out, finding this as I say it, I'm going to try not to laugh in the middle of it, said, is there any scenario where Auburn-Baylor doesn't descend into total chaos? Waco, week 1, Friday night, any of these 3 ingredients are concerning when isolated, so we throw them together?
They have had some.
So funny.
They've had some stuff in Waco, man. Golly.
So funny.
The 4:30 game yesterday was kind of cool.
Yeah, USF.
Yeah.
Alex Golish.
That was kind of cool.
Taking a major step towards college football playoffs. Still got to play Florida and Miami. Not gimmies for either team. Absolutely not.
Alabama, Florida State is high on my list, too. I want to see because of the trash talk.
Fair enough.
Castellano.
Fair enough. That's more of a spectacle to tune into, more so than a close game.
And Florida State, I feel like, is in the same boat as Nebraska, trying to get there.
Can Gus Malzahn do it again to an Alabama defense?
That's what I'm saying.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Speaking of blue chippers,
yeah,
Bama has checked that box.
Well, you got 104.5 The Zone's college football kickoff going on the rest of the day at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison, thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands. The rest of the shows on the station. They're celebrating the start of college football from the Buck Rising Show in seconds to Cover 2, 3HL. Sign up for a chance to win Tennessee football season tickets. That's a hot ticket. Prize giveaways each hour out there. Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison. You got plenty of time. Take an early lunch. Your boss won't mind. They're procrastinating today anyway. If you head down to Atlanta, safe travels. We will talk to you on Monday morning. We will have a Titans game week to discuss on Monday. We will recap all of the college football. Yes, we will be live on Monday, hosting this radio program in studio, recapping Tennessee and Syracuse as well. Looking forward to it.
I got to get my grill set before I come into work on Monday, Will, so we can have some smoked meats. But y'all know how we do on Friday, man. Call somebody you ain't talked to in a while. Buy somebody this weekend at a game, a random drink. Talk to your people, hug your people, love your people. But at all costs, man, ELE, everybody love everybody, even if it's rivalry week, man. But make it back to us on Monday. Peace.